still have our beautiful country of St. Lucia to feel very, very proud about. How are you, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Champagne.
You're looking very dapper this morning. And
yeah, well, it's independence. So
that's right. Let me help you.
I had to play the part.
That's right. Headphone is a little robotic.
Yeah. I was leaving my independence dress for next week, so Michael.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'm just ahead of time with my little bow tie.
I'm saying, so Michael is also ahead of time, but I'm saying I'm the one who is being left back.
Yeah. Well, good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning, Brother Josie. Good morning, Mr. Champagne.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
And morning, Mr. Virus Peters, our technician who's been added a lot of potential to our show.
Yes, he did.
On my way to I'm sorry I was a bit late because there was a bad accident between the Mega J's and Halcyon where a minivan seemed to have rolled over.
Yeah.
I saw the ambulance there. I don't know how many people are injured or what the story is, but the traffic is backed up for a very long way.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to both of you in a preamble on my way, I heard Mr. Josie referring to the comments made by Mr. Hilaire yesterday. I too heard the comments and I was appalled by what I heard. But I think what Mr. Josie summed up the situation quite correctly. Mm-hmm. Hilaire is an educated gentleman, and for him to make such pronouncements like we don't eat roads, that's what you call backward thinking.
Yes.
You know, sometimes they say you can move a man out of an area, but the area never moves out of the guy.
The area never comes out, that's right.
So it is very sad to see an individual like that, who we should really be respecting based on his education, to go on that route. But
so Michael, he still went on. Okay, let's assume that we want to say, okay, let's diffuse this one. Let's say, okay, he misspoke. But before that, prior to that, he was over there in Dominica, putting St. Lucia's name in a place where it should never have been.
I remember the incident.
Saying that what is going on in Dominica, I think there was a little violence going on up there before the elections.
St. Lucia.
Yes. What first got arranged in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
And this is the man, and this is the little difficulty I'm having with my brother Peter, who I really, really admire because I'm learning from him. To say the man is educated and he has rubbed shoulders with various people, he should know in some way that those statements are not to be made.
But education does not give you integrity.
Sense is not that common.
Mm-hmm.
And you used the word when I was coming, integrity.
Yes, Brother Peter was coming up.
That encompasses a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to waste a lot of time.
No, we don't.
But unlike these guys, when they make a statement and I counteract a statement, I counteract it with facts.
Right.
I'll give you an example this morning, Champagne. We all know that among the islands, St. Kitts has done the best. I think they have 1 death and 38 people.
Yeah.
First of all, St. Lucia has, before I finish, I have some very good news to you about some vaccines, so just remind me to talk about it, okay? St. Lucia has 3 times the population of St. Kitts. Mm-hmm. St. Kitts has 60,000 people. And by coincidence, I have some friends in St. Lucia.
In St. Kitts?
In St. Lucia, one of whom has a sister in St. Kitts. And only this Sunday, in having a casual conversation, I learned a lot, okay? Plus the fact, my preamble today is going to be focusing on the interest some people have in their country. Mm-hmm. I am blessed in that sense that I do take an interest in St. Lucia, okay? But I also try to compare and learn from people who have done better. Why has St. Kitts done better? Here's the reason, very simple. It's 1/3 of the population. Mm-hmm. Secondly, over 30 years ago, Champagne, St. Kitts started the CIP program.
Wow, that far back?
Over 30 years ago.
Wow.
When there was no competition. Mm-hmm. St. Kitts has sold literally thousands and thousands of passports. St. Kitts has a fairly good level, economic level. based on that, because that's where the earnings come. Yeah. Now, when you sell a passport, You're not earning, you don't have to spend money to make a profit. This is a whole revenue, a batch of revenue coming in, okay? When Douglas was thrown out of power, in all fairness, he had his issues, but he started it and did a damn good job, okay? And Harris continued it, okay? St. Kitts is in a rather enviable position. It's a small country, a small population with a good income. Do you know for the last 2 years, St. Kitts is the only island in the Caribbean that can pay civil servants 1 month's salary for not working, on a bonus, okay? So,
that's good.
Yeah, and here's what has happened. I learned only 2 days ago that when the virus came, there's a very big Marriott hotel there, 200 and something rooms. The Kittitian government made a decision that anybody coming into St. Kitts has to go there for 14 days. And they have to pay. They have to pay. Whether it's a visitor or it's a tourist. And he virtually closed his borders. Okay? Now, listen to the good side and to the bad side. Anybody, a Kittitian who wants to home quarantine, must accept 3 government security guards 24 hours a day, round the clock, which you have to pay for. In addition, you have to provide toilet facilities outside your home for the people. So it becomes so costly that Kittitians don't even go back to their home, they go into it. But again, why has St. Kitts been able to do that? Because they could afford to do those things. Here in St. Lucia, 60 or 70% of our revenue comes from tourism. St. Lucia is a bigger place than St. Kitts. We have hundreds of St. Lucians working abroad. You know how many St. Lucians were on cruise ships? Over the Christmas alone, 1,500 St. Lucians came home. St. Kitts doesn't have that problem. We have Martinique next door, infecting us.
One of the biggest
There are a lot of disadvantages. You cannot compare apples and oranges, okay? So consequently, what has happened now, that it is now almost 4 months, St. Kitts has been virtually locked down, so to speak, okay? They tried recently to reopen their hotels. And you know what happened? The airlines told them, we're not ready for you. They cannot start up. They cannot start up, okay? Now, these are the disadvantages. Now, one may argue, but they have only one person died, and lives matter, that kind of thing. But livelihoods also matter.
Livelihood matters,
But because of the fact that they are well-equipped financially because of the passport money, they're in a slightly better position. And they're a smaller country, easy to handle. Okay. So,
I didn't even know about the airlines that they had asked for.
Yeah, they're right now, they wanted to crank up. But you see, Champagne is like you tomorrow. If you have a shop, I'll give you an example, and you're selling certain products, okay? And your customer buys, you have a grocery store. You order, say, 5,000 cases of milk, so many cases of corned beef, and you decide to stop buying for 4 months.
Right.
When you go back to buy, you know what they're going to tell you? We have other customers ahead of you.
Took your place,
you have to start all over again. Starting up is a problem. Sure. And this is what the Prime Minister of this country realized, that tourism is 60 to 70% of it. You could not kill the goose that laid the golden egg, right? Now,
I see your point.
Correct. Now, that's not all, Champagne. This morning, again, on the newspapers, what is the headline this morning?
The Voice again.
Yeah. CSA opposes curfew and lengthening of SOE. Now, the CSA yet they're opposing that when the Prime Minister is doing that to keep the economy going. Okay?
Front page again.
Front page.
Front page.
Yeah. Now,
CSA opposes curfew.
Yeah, that's what you see.
So
you see where we go around.
It is as if like the CSA now is the government.
Correct. Now, let me tell you something I learned. 80 cents on every dollar goes to pay civil servants. 80 cents on every dollar earned goes to pay the civil service.
That's in St. Lucia?
Yeah, in St. Lucia.
80 cents?
80 cents.
So that's 80%.
And out of that 80 cents, 40 cents is earned from the tourism industry. Close it down. Where is the Prime Minister to get money to pay?
My goodness. We will stay on that for a little bit. I know before you go to your preamble, you wanted to add anything, Brother Peter, before just very short, briefly, before Sir Michael goes to his
but
preamble?
you and Sir Michael know, and a lot of your callers know, because I listen to the talk show sometimes. We all know the reason they want to close the country down is because they want everybody to be on the breadline, then start complaining about the government, get wild and disorderly, break the law, invade the Prime Minister's office, the House of Parliament, chaos, and okay, let's throw the Prime Minister out. That is all Champagne they're trying to do. We were not born yesterday,
That's right,
Champagne.
yes. Right.
Without cutting you short, I just wanted to make one point. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
before.
okay.
I get calls at my home regularly. I tell them I'm not Prime Minister of this country. I'm an individual that takes an interest in I discuss nothing with the Prime Minister or ministers. What I learn is from outside.
That's right.
When I bring my information, I may not always be 100% correct, but there's some correctness about it.
You said it last week. You're very curious. You've always been that way.
And I wrote, that's at my preamble today, explaining my curiosity, why I have it.
Yes, yes.
Now, you know what I just heard before coming here?
Yeah.
Somebody called me last night and said, the St. Lucia is only getting 75,000 vaccines, and we have 150,000 people, and you have to be vaccinated twice, so that's only half, okay? I, again, was of the opinion, I heard it myself on the British news, that the AstraZeneca takes only one shot.
Dosage,
that's what I thought, okay? I'm subject to correction.
That's what it is. I've heard it myself.
However, I learned this morning from fairly reliable source that government have also got another 100,000 vaccines which came in from India. But remember I told you some time ago that India was willing to put the vaccine. They have 2 vaccines in India. One that they made on their own, and they also manufacturing the AstraZeneca on license in India. And they have major pharmacies, so they can do it much more than the United Kingdom. So that is going to be sent to St. Lucia, I think, in the next 10 to 12 days. Yesterday, Barbados got its vaccines for the whole of Barbados.
Wow.
And I understand that the Barbados government sent down today 1,000 vaccines to the St. Lucia government for some frontline people. I don't know who they are.
That is good news.
Yeah.
That is good news.
So, Mr. Michael, before you start, let me just repeat something I said earlier. You were not there, and I want to say it again. If the Labour Party began this whole conversation about the virus by telling their people that there was no such thing, that the Prime Minister was not in Barbados, they said a set of lies. The only guy who had a semblance of truth in him was the representative for Denbury North. And when they put pressure on him, he backtracked.
He backed away,
he didn't have the courage to stand up.
He crumbled.
Today, they realized their mistake, especially after they spread the pandemic and it picked after the match. All of a sudden, the Labour Party is pretending, these hypocrites,
to be on board.
as if not to be on board, as if they're more interested in St. Lucians getting the vaccine than the Prime Minister or the government. You understand? Who is the Labour Party trying to fool? Certainly not the mature people. Not even some young school children they can fool with that. So
all right, we'll get back to that because we want to stay on the House sitting yesterday. We had something. So go ahead, sir, with your preamble.
Okay.
Yes.
While a number of countries worldwide enter lockdowns to address the dreadful virus, others take advantage of the downtime to do what is necessary during these unusual times. Despite St. Lucia's size and limited resources, the current administration has been able to emulate what is required of a progressive nation. We make these comments today based on the tremendous progress our nation has ever witnessed within the past 20 months. A great percentage of St. Lucians tend to remain within their various surroundings, most of the time by not taking the time to witness the progress and advancement of the 17 constituencies, which is a bit unfortunate. But this is the prerogative of everyone to do so. On the other hand, a small percentage of persons do quite opposite, and I am proud of myself as I enter the twilight of my life to take a keen interest in my native land. Based on my age, one can well imagine the changes I have envisioned over the years. If St. Lucians were reminded that during my early years, one could not get to Soufriere and Cannery, that one could only get to Soufriere and Cannery by sea, they would probably not understand and believe. The easiest way of getting across to VG Cove from Castries during my youth was taking a rowboat from Prince Alfred's Basin as a result of the 12 rowboats operating a ferry service, sort of, from a small shed parallel to the water's edge. For years, VG Airport, presently known as George Shultz Airport, was our main airstrip, to the extent that Sir John Compton extended the runway to accommodate medium-sized jets. Today, Hunora represents a lucrative asset to Slassor, and by extension, the nation. 2 years hence, Hunora will represent a masterpiece commercial investment which will catapult St. Lucia to a new level. Expectations at completion will bring our taxis and coaches to an unprecedented level, automatically upgrading the standard of our current transportation system as government embarks to finally create a major highway from Denby to Rodney Bay come December 2021. Thanks to international investors who are willing to meaningfully participate in this valuable exercise. Thanks for the initiative taken by the current government and WASCO in using the extraordinary talent of Vinci International in undertaking the enhancement of a crying need of potable water in the South, while so many progressive investments are going on. Let us not lose sight at the status of the St. Jude's Hospital coming on stream this year. The 350-room canals investment, all set to go once the necessary protocols take effect. Neither must we lose sight of the Hospitality University, where a 250-room all-inclusive hotel to support the project just awaits the protocols. And incidentally, only yesterday, I got a private letter from one of the directors of DSH saying we are all ready to move and reinstate the racetrack, but we are waiting on the necessary protocols before we, which is understandable.
Yes.
I said before, you have a place like Sandals who've been operating here for 30 years, employing 1,800 people, going through difficulties where they had to close for months. Yet, everybody is now, especially the opposition, trying to damage the DSH project. Oh, it's a morgue. Most businesses right here are morgues today,
at the moment.
as of what you're going.
Yeah.
Okay. Utilities like water, electricity, and improvement to roads in the South are essential to raise the bar in support of all these international projects. The south of the island encompasses some 24,000 acres of flat and undulating land, which lends itself to all sorts of development. And this administrator is determined to provide the facilities to take advantage of these opportunities. The Heineken Brewery in the south remains a perfect replica of the kind of investors and investment we must inspire to emulate. Adjacent to the brewery is the Spartan University, with some 30 years of dedicated professional service, responsible for producing over 1,000 professionals since the university laid roots in the South. How many of us are aware of that? Both those organizations have made significant social and economic contributions which must never be overlooked. Coconut Bay, another such institution, has contributed significantly since its inception some 14 years ago, with its peak employment of over 500 employees. Added to all these exemplary organizations, the call center industry has also blossomed significantly by way of some 1,500 employees and growing. The South has finally found itself in an enviable position for investment, and as the HIA terminal gets on stream, there will be no stopping of growth. Yesterday, the Prime Minister received a call from the owner of Intel IBO, the call center, to say, Prime Minister, when the protocols went into place, into action in St. Lucia, he said he was very concerned what would happen to all his 800 or 900 employees. What do you think has happened? The St. Lucians have gone to their homes, and what he said, they are doing just as well or better at home.
Home, yes. Yes.
So this is incredible for these people. Okay.
The DSH information there is very, very welcoming, because you've heard for the last couple of weeks that DSH has abandoned the place. And I know for a fact there are still horses there that are being cared for.
Certainly. Yeah. Today, we are presenting the extension and enhancement of the road network at Cassinbar, Barbaro, and Labon, and Dauphin, which was unattended for years. The residents of this area are today ecstatic at the progress and attention given by an administration which really cares. Today, we further wish to highlight the amazing design of the Kalisak bridge, which will be seen on our screen, which represent the longest and most costly bridge in the history of St. Lucia. The instant clearing commenced over the weekend, where a number of utility poles are presently being relocated to accommodate the movement of all the heavy equipment required to make this project a reality. Attached today, and we can see it on the screen, is an artist's impression of the new 20-bedroom hospital for Soufriere, due to start shortly. This facility is a state-of-the-art diagnostic center with the most up-to-date equipment now available in first world countries only. This facility has been financed by a Norwegian NGO to the tune of $10 million. Coupled to this investment, some 4 top specialists will be rotated every 3 months until our local physicians have got the hang of this concept. This facility will be able to offer a top-class service to the wider Caribbean in addition to our St. Lucia folk. As a result of the Prime Minister's personal connections, this facility has come to fruition and will be a game changer to all St. Lucians, whereby traveling abroad will be a thing of the past. Today, I wish to once more elaborate on my total disgust for the downside of social media in St. Lucia. The degrading and dangerous aspects of social media needs to be revisited to avoid the nature of damage to this facility can bring about. Most recently, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, as a result of misinformation, lies, and derogatory comments, we all witnessed the mess he's in today. And unfortunately for the United States, they can afford this thing. We in St. Lucia cannot afford such degradation in our society. Okay? St. Lucia is a tiny nation, and we need to uphold a sense of decorum in order that we as a nation cannot be continually classified as a banana republic. Many parents in St. Lucia work so very hard to guide their children to attain a proper education, and this education surrounds the way we respond to the level of criteria in our lives. Our children are taught how to educationally respond to situations where necessary. Hence the reason why all those misfits on our radio programs send the wrong message to the young and old in this country. This is a situation that must be addressed. Our concentration today has been brought about by an observation made by a sister of the church who recognized the low-class allegations against the Prime Minister of this country. And all the sister asked for is to maintain a sense of dignity instead of the unqualified and low-class so-called radio and TV hosts, responded both on their talk shows and via social media in a most derogatory fashion. To the outside world, St. Lucia may be classified as a bunch of savages, which is so very sad, while so many of us move in the right direction to raise the standards in St. Lucia. Some of their own comments to the sister suggested that she has no right to support a white man while on the other hand, individuals from abroad who continue to assist Central is in so many ways. I repeat that. On the other hand, let me repeat this last sentence. Some of their comments to the sister suggested that she has no right to support a white man, while on the other hand, it is individuals from abroad who continue to assist St. Lucia in so many ways. Listening to Keep It Real show around 8 a.m. yesterday, a caller from the diaspora reminded Norbert Williams that St. Lucia reminds her of the U.S. in the last days of the Donald Trump administration. The caller also reiterated that seeing President Biden and Prime Minister Chastanet on television, she concluded that the temperament of these individuals were quite similar. But what made her more convinced was the fact that both individuals had the same birthday.
They do.
This is my preamble.
Yes, thank you very much. And we will go back to it in a little bit to talk about some of the points, in particularly the one with the priest.
Yeah.
Because I was really, really disgusted about that, just seeing that. To you, sir, Mr. Josie.
Yes, Champagne, thank you. And good morning again, listeners. Good morning, Sir Michael.
Good morning.
I received a call on Monday, Champagne and listeners, from the Government Information Service, invited me to be part of a forum, discussion group on the matter of independence.
Yeah.
I turned it in my mind, I agreed to go. And I said to myself, why don't I take some notes, write some things down to guide me in the discussion. I had a further brainwave yesterday, and I decided to read this morning on this program some of the things that I have in mind to say at the GIS discussion. I want to tell St. Lucians who do not know that when Sir Alan Louisy, was leader of the opposition, he was invited to London together with Sir John, and each of them was supposed to take one person, elected member of the opposition with them. At the time, there were 7 elected members of the opposition, starting with Sir Alan Louisy, Kenneth Foster, Evans Cauldron, Boswell Williams, Bruce Williams, and Gregor Mason, I think it was. But Sir Alan Louisy chose me to go with him on that very first conference. In fact, I ended up going on all 3. I never asked him why me, because he was not a little boy, he was a grown man. In fact, he sat on the appeals court of the OECS. So this was a qualified and experienced lawyer, a magistrate, and a judge, and a Supreme Court judge. So I wish to make that clear, that independence and the drive to independence formed an important part of my young political life. And I decided after 42 years of independence, there are certain issues, certain questions we as a country, as a people, have not faced. And in my humble opinion, I have put 5 of those questions down on paper. There are more. People can add to them. But these are questions I would ask St. Lucians to try to face and to answer as truthfully as they can. And this is going to be my contribution to this independence discussion this year on the 42nd anniversary. The first question is, what language are we as a people prepared to choose as a second language in addition to English? I assume that English would be the first. Which language should we choose as a second language? Should we choose French? Should we choose Creole? And where does Spanish fit into our future as a language? Where does Spanish fit? My second question is, how do we educate and train our citizens so as to abolish illiteracy and ignorance on our island within the next 10 or so years. My third question: when will the scholarship and writings of Sir Arthur Lewis, Sir Derek Walcott be an integral part of the education system on this island, both formal and informal? Question number 4: when will we muster the courage to legislate a compulsory 2-year term of national service for the youth of this nation? And should anyone enjoy the benefit of taxpayers' money, such as scholarships for overseas studies, without first serving or contributing to the nation? And the 5th question is, when will we begin a national discussion on sex and sexuality, including different sexual orientation based strictly on biological science? I've said before on a program here, we didn't have the television at the time, and I've tried to categorize St. Lucia as in a historic perspective, using the Bible as my guide. I refer to George F.L. Charles as our Moses, the one who was able to get the colonial masters, the colonial office, to give us the vote, one man, one vote. I refer to John Compton as the Joshua, or biblical Joshua. He is the one who was able to lead into the promised land, just like Joshua did in the Bible. There came a time when we appointed Joachim, and I'm not going to call his real name, but he disobeyed God. He turned from God. And so the country of Israel and Jerusalem were attacked and destroyed, and were taken to Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar, until God saw it fit to send King Cyrus to free his people, and appointed leaders to rebuild the temple and to rebuild the country. And one such leader was Zerubbabel. And I'm saying to you, listeners, and Champagne and Sir Alan, I believe our Zerubbabel, Prince of the People as he was called, is none other than Alan Chastanet. And together with Zerubbabel, there was Haggai, the prophet Haggai, and also Joshua. This historical comparison is how I have seen St. Lucian move over the years. In the same way that Joachim had dishonored God, maybe he didn't have prayers before he had meetings with his council, perhaps that's part of it, God turned against them. Okay? I have added myself. God has spared me, and my job, my historical job, would be that of Paul, who first was against God's people, but saw the light and became Paul after he was first Saul. They called me Peter, and remember I said when I was saying this the first time, maybe my name should be Peter Paul. And that's just a little joke. But I'm telling you that there are a lot of things we have to think of as a people, because after 42 years, if it was a normal individual human being, that person would be in an age of maturity and would be able to fend for themselves, to clothe themselves, to feed themselves, and maybe their children too. And we have to look at the nation and ask ourselves, who are the people keeping us back and getting in the way of God's people up to this point? We have to ask ourselves some serious questions. I know we have the pandemic, we have COVID-19. This is serious. But COVID-19, as the Prime Minister has said continuously, and I believe Sir Michael has said that, and other people have said that, including the CMO, the pandemic is not going to be with us forever and ever and ever. That is why we have to be planning the economic part and side of things. That is why we cannot stop building roads, new roads. We cannot stop building hospitals. We cannot stop developing the Hiwanora International Airport. We cannot stop developing water. Water is life. And if Beaufort is going to prosper, it needs to have a safe supply of drinking water at all times. You cannot put these things on hold because there's a pandemic. Nobody does that. At least no sensible leader does that. So I wanted to make those points clear. Yeah. And one of the reasons I'm happy I arrived a little early is because I wanted to get this nonsense about the things that Hilaire and some of his people are saying. You know, these things about not eating roads. This is unbecoming for us to be discussing this matter when Sir Alan and I, Sir Michael, I'm saying Sir Alan, Sir Michael and I are here to discuss serious issues. We should not be repeating this kind of rubbish. This is as Maurice Bishop used to call them, this is yard fowl talk, you know. And some of us have been blessed to soar like eagles, and we should not be feeding with yard fowls. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Brother Peter, for your preamble this morning. So, Michael, I want to start somewhere here this morning because I heard it on the news with the CSA, the president, Mr. Mantrop. And here we have this morning, once again, last week we saw on the front page of the Voice newspaper something to do with Cabot, where they were talking about illegalities and something. And this morning, today now, the midweek paper is showing something on the front page. CSA opposes curfew and lengthening of SOE, state of emergency. Is the Voice newspaper trying to bring up an image, come back strong somewhere in I don't want to use the word negative, to hype up their paper? Because if we're going into our 42nd independence, we have the coronavirus, which has damaged this country. You would have thought you would have seen something. Now, we're not criticizing anybody. I don't want the Voice newspaper to come at me to think I'm criticizing their paper. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is we are going into our 42nd independence anniversary. We have the coronavirus that is a menace to us. It has been there for almost a year. And you would have thought you would have seen something in that effect on the front page. But here we've seen something to do with the CSA. Anyway, we're going to put that aside. The CSA, I respect the fact that they have their general president and they're looking to do the best for their membership. But you have heard it all over the world. Shutting down economically is not good for any country. And here you have these people. I understand they want to fend for the membership. I said that before. But what about the other people that works in this country? You're talking about the farmers, talk about the fishers, talk about the minibus drivers, people like myself, people that are involved with the tourism sector. When you shut down this country, they're asking for 10 days minimum, I think. Here's what the problem is. The CSA membership will get paid at the end of the month.
That's right.
If the government shuts down the country for 10 or 2 weeks a month, they will get their salaries. That is a fact. As a matter of fact, we saw it last year when the Prime Minister asked for the deferment. They refused to accept it. For me, personally, I'm thinking there's a little bit of selfishness on the part of the CSA. Not the CSA membership, the president.
First of all, let's address the Voice. The Voice newspaper, I think, has been in existence for over 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's a well-recognized newspaper. However, over the years, the individuals at the Voice change from time to time.
Yes.
And these people have their own priorities.
I believe that.
Now, I listened to a caller 4 days ago. I think it was a Norbert show, not sure, one of those shows, or Timothy Fuller. Said she does not listen to the news anymore in some shows.
I've gotten calls like that.
Everything is so negative.
I've gotten calls like that all the time. All the time.
Now, that's bad.
It is bad.
Because, there's nothing wrong with people having an opinion. But opinion should be categorized logically. Okay? As you rightly said, going into our 42nd independence, look, it is common knowledge that the government is receiving 1,000 vaccines today and also getting another 100,000 vaccines from India, okay, to complement the 75,000. To me, that is a very important bit of information which needs to be circulated to our public. That's our life that we're talking about, okay? This kind of thing should be what is making the headlines today. Now, Mr. Montrop is president of the CSA. I respect Mr. Montrop for what it is. But in my view, Mr. Montrop has no special economic credentials to make a decision of that nature. As president, he's free to make a suggestion.
Yeah, on the part of his membership.
Yeah, but you have a cabinet of ministers running the country.
Yes, sir, that's what I
You
said.
have to find the money. I haven't seen Mr. Montrop tell the Prime Minister where he's going to get the money from.
That's right.
This is the logical thing. When, in my opinion, Mr. Montrop should probably sit with the government and say, look at me, these are my concerns. These are my concerns. What is your feedback? Is it possible? But to rush to a newspaper or a television station, are they just looking for attention? Yeah. Are they just looking for attention? What is it all about? And this is what is happening in St. Lucia, why people now are running away from the news. Now, coming to St. Lucia, coming down to the station earlier on, I heard yourself and Mr. Josie discussing a situation similar to that. How top-class information should be disseminated. And, and it is sad. It is sad because, if you continue painting a bleak picture of a country, it will remain bleak. We have to be optimistic.
Before I go to Mr. Brother Peter, so Michael, in your time, have you ever heard, and I know you've been involved with the politics, when I say politics, not literally, but you're always curious, you know what's happening. Have you ever heard the CSA attacking the Labour Party when they're in office?
Definitely not.
Have you ever heard them bring out a concern?
Remember, campaign, when the Labour Party were going to reduce by 5% the wages.
Yes, 0 point, yes.
Okay. Recently, again, it was brought to the attention of the nation when the customs controller was taking the necessary action against Mr. Hilaire, okay? And he was degraded by certain individuals.
The controller, we're talking about, the highest level of the customs staff.
Never. What does it tell you?
Never.
We cannot live in a community of bias because it's wrong. It's wrong. You have a government running a country for 5 years. I think that a government can be criticized. It is the duty of an opposition to criticize. But constructive criticism is very good. But that kind of criticism and one-sidedness is unacceptable. And it has been happening for years.
For years.
It happened under John Compton also. So it's a party situation.
It's a party thing.
And especially now with a pandemic right before us, we need to join hands to fight this thing together.
Brother Peter, the same question to you. Have you ever heard of the CSA? And I know you're deeply involved. You started the trade union and all this thing. Have you ever heard the CSA criticizing the Labour Party government at any time during your time, sir?
No, not that I know. And again, at the time, 42 years ago, I was part of the Labour Party, and we said at the time that we didn't think St. Lucians were ready for independence. And all of this cross-talk, and even the voice, the people that are there now, I guess their parents, mother, father, are the people who pass down the negativity to them. Because we explained, and we are always ready and able to explain ourselves. I have, and I pride myself in this, I try to have a scientific approach in everything. You approach the thing, you give your reasons, you examine it, and always, if you are true to the science, always you must be prepared to put aside what you see, what you have experimented with, for something new that somebody else has discovered, and they have good reasons for the discovery. So you move ahead, and that is how education proceeds. You cannot stick to something all the time. One of the things that stands out in my mind most about the Prime Minister, Dr. Anthony? Apart from the banana coupe par coupe nonsense with the others. You know what stands out most in my mind when he became Prime Minister? The way he treated the civil service or the civil servants. I will never, never forget. How can a Prime Minister offer people 0.000%? As a trade unionist and one who is still interested in how workers negotiate, because workers work and management manage.
But Mr. Peter, sorry to interrupt, they still support him and his party. Well, when I say they, I don't mean the entire membership. The leadership of the CSA still supports this man.
But Champagne,
is that personal?
But Champagne, that is the point. I was just going to ask that same question. It is a comment on them. Now, what kind of mentality would cause a person to be kicked around 0.000 and still hanging on to the person that did that to you? People complain about women not being able to leave men that abuse them and things. So it's not only true about women. As a matter of fact, I think the average woman in St. Lucia, and I will repeat it, I think the average woman in St. Lucia is stronger and more resolute in character than the average man. And one of these days, Champagne, I want you to take the topic of sexuality.
Yes, we will.
And I want to ask you one of these days, if you're walking down the road, for every 4 men you see passing, how many of them are 100% men? But
So-
we will do that one day, okay?
Yeah, so I want to stay on this here because, and you just asked the question, what does that say because of the leadership of the CSA? But there's a membership. The membership, there's an election. So they are not blind people. They're not blind. The membership is not blind. They go into an election and still continue to elect these people. What is the reason for that?
Because if you don't have any integrity, if you don't have any faith in yourself, and your mind has been poisoned against X or Y or Z, you will not go to X or Y or Z. You will stay with the one that's abusing you. That is the point I was trying to make
But
about
the
women.
civil servants, the educated people, brilliant people, they're the ones moving this country.
Champagne, for the last time this morning, I will not say that again to you, especially to you. Education has nothing to do with integrity.
Well, that is true.
It makes it worse if you are educated and you're a person who is without integrity. If your character is flawed, all you will do is use your education for mischief and for wrongdoing and for breaking the law.
Okay, Majatana.
There's something called a culture.
Yeah, yes.
A lot of those people have been brainwashed over the years that the St. Lucia Labour Party is the party for the Mallory and the working class.
Wow.
They need to get up and smell the coffee.
And their leaders turn around and the leaders offer them 0%?
Because of the length of time they've been in power, okay, they've become masters of those people and masters of a system. Now let me say something to you. You take, I'm going to ask you a question now, Jackie. You in the should I say, media business. How many television stations, you don't have to call me, are pro the St. Lucia Labour Party today?
I would say, you want a percentage or you want
a
the number?
majority. A majority.
I don't want to mention anybody.
No. Well, if there are 21, there's 19.
Sorry?
If we have 21, there may be 19 pro SLP.
Now, what these people have systematically done, Peter Josie had a problem recently, well, not a problem, they took him to task over a comment he made over some guy with a...
Yeah, kid, yes.
I didn't see anything wrong with what Peter said,
No.
not because Peter is here. He made an observation.
And you and I spoke about that on the phone and we didn't see anything wrong with
what
it.
has happened? In the last couple of weeks, I have seen at least 6 shows where the NYC, National Youth Council, where the National Youth Council,
Yeah, go ahead.
we take just a break, just one moment to make an aside adjustment. Okay? Yeah, the NYC already being groomed as supporters of a particular party. Everything that is said which highlights the St. Lucia Labour Party, you bring on board a student to supplement it. I've seen it over and over.
Yeah.
I watch shows. They are all one-sided. So what they're doing now is expanding their base for a level of support, right? Which is very sad because, again, eventually, if not well taken care of, all those individuals within that organization will believe that only one party supports them.
Do they believe that their leaders are fighting on their behalf? That is why they continue to elect them as
Champion,
the
it's a form of culture, okay? It's a culture, and they getting indoctrinating all those people. Look, the gentleman who's going up against Spider and Josie, I can't remember his name.
Yes, I don't remember his name myself.
He made a comment some time ago. I heard him myself, and what he said, his parents were Labour Party people, and he said too, it's a form of a culture, okay? That that's what he knows.
Doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah, and you see, and unfortunately, this is not the way to run a country, because St. Lucians are not born SLP and born UWPs. No. These are organizations or parties people have chosen, and they choose those parts for their own. They have to use their brain and decide what is good for me. But in their opinion, over the years, the SLP has been the party for them.
Yeah.
Although
we could
proof has been given that the progress St. Lucia has been made under the United Workers' Party.
95%.
You had Sir John Compton there for years. Look at what the guy did for St. Lucia.
95%.
Look at where he took St. Lucia.
95%.
Okay? I listened to Guy Joseph recently, and I think on
Monday night, yes.
And the information he gave, the man gave information, documented information of where the country was concerning the sinking fund, how it was spent, money, you know, but a man convinced against his will remains of the same opinion still.
Yes,
But
I like that.
Does the government have time to go to all those organizations? Look, I'll tell you something. You take Russia today. Do you think that in the world, I'm a conservative. I have no bones about that, okay? I believe in democracy.
Yes.
You take Russia, okay? That's one-party state.
One party.
Look, a guy voices opinion, you try to kill him,
put him in prison.
Put the man in jail, okay? This is unacceptable. With all the faults America has, Trump could have been as powerful as you want, the Prime Minister. You did fool us. Out. You change them.
And I'm happy where you're going with that, and I'm going to go to Brother Peter on that. I want to stay on this. This is going to be the last we'll talk about the CSA. Because in my little lifetime, I have not heard of any executive of the CSA supporting a UWP government. It has never happened. From the gentleman that used to be in agriculture way back, I don't remember his name, from Ancillary, up until now. But then you have the membership, Mr. Brother Peter, and that is where I'm having a little difficulty. One Prime Minister promised you 000, and I'm talking about the entire membership of the CSA.
He didn't promise, he offered it.
Offered, yes, not promised, offered. Thank you very much. That is one of the most degrading amount that you could have promised your driving force of your country. But still for that, and his henchmen never said a word. They never said, so we cannot afford to accept that, my membership. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they called a meeting after that offer. But there they are, the same membership continues to vote these henchmen in place, put them in position in the executive level to support this party.
But, Champion, you remember the 14% increase?
By the Honorable Stevenson King.
And
they were asking for 24.
Yeah. And you know who was on the demonstration?
Front line.
Pay them their money.
Pay them.
Yeah.
Pay them.
But you're giving 000, but pay them 14%.
That is why I'm going with that. He was on the front line in solidarity with the CSA in a match, saying pay them the 24% because this is what they were asking for. 24%.
Yeah.
It got down to 14%, the highest amount. When he came in power, you know what he said? This was stupid for the Honorable Stevenson King to pay.
But 14%. You see, they tested Stevenson King's nose.
Yes.
And they beat him down.
Yes.
But you have to have a Prime Minister, not only be firm, but be firm and sensible, okay? Yeah. You cannot make blood out of stone.
No, you cannot.
St. Lucia is a poor country, right? And, you know, and I have to go back again to what they've been saying all the time. If you have money to build roads, but Guy Joseph said it. You have direct awards. You have St. Lucians rather like Breno Kajada, Fresh Start, who can go to the bank with a letter, okay, and government can get 2.5, 3 years financing, okay, and get the ball rolling, okay. When you are sick, you have to go to the hospital. We are sick now.
That's true.
We are sick. So you have to be treated. You have to be treated. And these are the analogies that we need to accept and look at.
Yeah. But Peter, from 14%, when he came in, he offered 0.00.
One thing I can tell you, my grandparents, and I knew a lot of senior people when I was growing up as a little boy in Beaufort, that would not have happened to them. If they were dissatisfied, they would not make any noise, they wouldn't demonstrate. But if they had a single vote, quiet vote, to cast, they would push you out so fast you'd be surprised. But now this generation, the generation that came after me actually, look like they have lost their rudder, they have lost their compass, they have lost their way. And I suspect, I'm not sure of that, I suspect a lot of them don't feel that they belong because the poverty in which all of us grew up, in which they grew up, they can't seem to put that aside. I have seen people, Champagne, on different boards, sports boards, etc., go out to represent St. Lucia internationally, in the Caribbean. And these people live in hotels. When these people return to St. Lucia, I know where some of them go to use their bowels on morning. I have seen the places. I know St. Lucia fairly well, and I know a lot of these people fairly well. It has to play on your mind. It has to mess up your mind. So these things, these people will always be prepared to stay at the lowest level. Even when they emerge with a good home and a good bathroom and a good toilet, they still cannot make the transition or transformation from, boy, you see that pit latrine? That is behind. I'm not turning back there. I will help people to come out from there, but that is a life that is past. You cannot continue to dwell your mind on this because you will always be like Aliad Fowl. Always. And that is the problem I see with some of our people. That is the problem I see. They have been kicked around, they have been criticized, but, boy, if I go there, will I be accepted? I don't belong in that company. I don't know how to use a wine glass. My first child, let me just finish that quickly. My first child, once she was about 10 years, she went to Canada to see her mother, with her mother, to see the mother's sisters and brothers. Somebody, I think it was from Trinidad, invited them, including my daughter. It was around Christmas, I think, and they were having wine after their meals. And the lady happened to bring a cognac glass with wine. So my daughter, at 10 years old, she said, but that's not a wine glass. The person was so surprised, and I guess had no excuse, didn't know what to say. Right? Now, I didn't say, listen, this is a wine glass, this is this glass, this is that glass, right? But I know, and I maybe said it without wanting to teach anybody anything. Okay? So children learn what they see. And boy, I said, boy, you can't do this thing. So people come out with a glass.
No, but my point again, Brother Peter, I said what was going to be the last, but I want to stay on that. The CSA membership, they could weigh the balance. They could see who's for them, who's not. They have seen what was offered to them under the UWP administration. 14%, we're going just back to that recent time. The man was there with them, held up a banner, pay the people, bite the bullet, give them the monies. They got down to 14% was offered. Everyone accepted. He came 5 years later and offered 0%. And here's my problem. The same membership, the same people didn't say a word. I have a difficulty with that, Sir Michael.
They said it, Champagne, but you didn't hear. They said, yes, Massa. Because that is what they got.
So, yes, why would the membership continue to elect the executive where they know for sure, the membership I'm talking about, know that these people have their own personal agenda?
I can answer that question very simply, Champagne. In their eyes, remember one thing. How did the United Workers get into power? By the
masses.
Number of votes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So don't tell me no civil servants voted. So that is their way of doing it, what you call the silent behavior. They go to the polls and they get rid of him. So nobody knows who did the job, okay? That's how they do it, okay? Now, what happens then over the years is that the people at the CSA, at the top, they are all labor supporters. They are known labor supporters, okay?
All of them.
So just imagine, Champagne, you have a household with 3 or 4 children, okay? And every time you come home, you tell the children, look at me, you have to support the United Workers' Party, or you have to, and give your reasons.
Yes.
As the father, they will listen to you. There is a father there.
I believe that.
There is a father. It's a cult, okay? But I'm telling you, sooner rather than later, the people will understand what is going on. I'll tell you something, not because the Prime Minister is my son. When I see what this man has gone through and what he has done for this country, you know, again, I would not go into far saying that nobody else could. He's not infallible. He doesn't make mistakes. But you listen to a guy who called Norbert yesterday, the day before, in Creole. What did he say? My pa made me say. Why you pa made me say?
No reason.
My pa made me say. Me say pa faire rien. Now, there is a guy, limited intelligence, being told by somebody what I just told you, he just believes it. And that is the difference between here and Barbados. Champagne. When I was 17, 18 years of age, I had my own boat going to Barbados. We would load mangoes and,
at 18,
and go to Barbados.
Wow.
When I put my boat on dry dock in Barbados, at the Barbados Foundry, usually 4 or 5 days, we didn't have a dock here at the time. I go there, in the morning you have 10, 15 shipwrights come to do their work. The work's supposed to start at 7 o'clock. It never starts at 7 o'clock. It starts at 7:30. Every Bajan there buying the Barbados Advocate.
Yes.
Reading it.
See what's happening.
Okay? Now, you go to a Bajan of that caliber and you say to a Bajan, I don't like the Prime Minister, whoever he or she may be at the time. What Bajan tell me? Give me the reason why.
Give me the reason why.
And they wait up. On the other hand, some of those people, you're right.
You're right.
They don't think.
They don't ask questions.
You have to learn to analyze those things, because every one of us, the same way we have a vote, we have knowledge. We can make a contribution to our country. And that's the importance. That does not exist there.
But
anyway, let me.
Michael and Champagne, people must be taught how to think, you know. It doesn't come automatically.
True.
And this morning, Champagne, just let me say that quickly before you open up the phone lines.
Before I open up the lines, we want to go to the house.
I listened to Norbert this morning, and I was amazed how many people called to say what the $20 used to go for 3 months.
Oh, yes.
And how much it was increased by, as Guy Joseph said.
And we have to stay on that as well.
You know?
We may not have phone calls today because I want to go down to that road.
And somebody called to say something that I think is very intelligent, and I have always maintained that. The roadsides still need to be cleared.
Yes, sir.
You will still need, whether you call it step in, step out, or whatever there will always have need for a roads program, right? But don't treat it as if that is the only thing you can offer the man who didn't go to school.
Yeah. We want to relax on the CSA. I just hope one of these days the membership of the CSA, I'll forget it. I need to say this though. I hope one of these days the membership of the CSA will elect an executive that is balanced.
Hello. Let the people, I've been there, let the people do what they're doing. Trust me, a majority of civil servants are going to vote for Alan Chastanet next election.
Oh, I know that. I know that. But I was talking about their own executive. I wasn't talking about the general election.
You see, they want the executive to oppose the government to get more money.
Yeah.
Maybe when the other government gets in 2050, they will.
Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house.
When Mary Isaac was there, and she stood up for them, she was ostracized for signing up.
Yes, of course.
She was ostracized.
Because who was pushing the agenda of that election?
Anyway, as Peter says, we need to move on.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's go to the house. And I brought it here. We carried the house sitting yesterday on this radio station. And then I went home to see the closing part of it. And I could not believe what I was hearing from the opposition members. All of a sudden, the opposition members, the way they sound like they have always been on board from inception, from day one.
Amazing.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Bluff.
I was sitting and I'm saying, but wait a minute, are these not the same guys that had a huge march in the midst of the coronavirus?
So hot.
I could not believe everyone had an idea. Everyone was chastising the government, criticizing, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. That was supposed to be done this way. The same people.
They tried to take over the coronavirus control.
You watched them. You saw everything. I could not believe what I was seeing. And the parliamentarians on the government side were very reserved. But I'm telling you, if I was standing in that house yesterday, I would be as raw as I would be. I would say you guys are responsible for the spread we have in St. Lucia. Because the statistics shows it. From March of 2020 up until October, our numbers were 27 cases with 0 deaths.
Correct.
Immediately after the march, and I will continue to say immediately, we saw that spike and it never went down.
I've said it on this show before. There's one instance in the States where they did some tracing. One guy, Champagne, infected 50 people.
Yes.
So can you imagine in Little St. Lucia, they say it will be the biggest march. Let us see for a figure. I would
Let's
say
say 3,000.
Yeah, I even go lower. I even say 2,000.
Okay.
Okay. Out of the 2,000, some had masks, some didn't. Let's just say out of the 2,000, 500 didn't. I don't know. Okay. You know what damage 500 can do?
That's what
because they took the buses the same night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Hilaire had the audacity to go and talk about the bus driver who stayed at hospital and refused to cooperate.
Yeah.
Refused to cooperate.
Yeah.
Okay. Not realizing that when a hotel makes a mistake, they do cooperate. Because don't forget, a hotel was closed down in St. Lucia, and a large hotel too.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So there's no law for one and a no law for the others, you know. So, and this is the sad part, this very sad part about individuals like Mr. Hilaire. I listened to both Hilaire and Philippe Pierre yesterday. I tell you something. They come in one sense saying we're going to support you, but criticizing the government, okay? As you made a very clear point, up to October, we were doing fine.
Very well.
And you had all the hotels open, or a lot of the hotels were open. The same people were coming in all the time, okay? What is it? And another problem that I have, Champagne, is that I don't care who and what you are. If you have people coming in through a back door and not being checked, the chances are that somebody went through them. When they come through, we know who is infected.
Yes.
And that is the difference. You have to know those things.
Yeah. But Peter, here's the excuse, and you continue to hide. Oh, we got permission from the CMO. Of course you got permission from the CMO. The poor lady is not involved with politics. Could you imagine if she had said no to them, the amount of things they would have said to this lady? They walked out of the house and they advised their two Labour Party senators not to show up.
Which again, you see the cult again?
Okay.
Never have I heard a UWP, a senator, because the senator is not chosen by the government, it's chosen independently, go and do that kind of foolishness.
Okay.
You know? And you have certain individuals in these senators going out and bragging and pretending as though they are
they were sick and all that.
Independent, and this is what I think, and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody have an advice. But Brother Peter, with the bill not being passed, it was not passed in the upper, it was not passed in the lower, it passed with the... Knowing that...
I mean, if the bill had not been
passed. It eventually did pass because they got 200 senators in there. But knowing that, these guys went to the CMO, and they know that this lady don't want to get herself involved in any politics. So she had to give them permission.
But not
she had to give them the permission. So you heard them saying that we got permission. So everything was okay. This is what they're trying to say.
Champagne, there is nothing more dangerous than a person who has no shame. When I was growing up again, you see, I go back to all the time I go back to my youth. Little boy, I wasn't in college yet. I was still at primary school in Beaufort. I used to hear my grandparents and other elderly citizens say, there's nothing worse than a person who is sans honte, that is without shame. And every criminal was categorized as people without shame. Okay? Now, you can interpret it however you want, but the kind of mind that would put people off in the middle of a pandemic like the coronavirus, we have not seen this plague in the last 100 years. This is something we will never see again in our lifetime, God willing.
Probably not.
Okay? This tells you how dangerous this thing is. You guys are supposed to be intelligent people. The first thing you did, you started putting pressure on the CMO. You know why? Because people were not dying. Now they're so glued to American television, they wake up with the American television, the American station. They go to bed last thing in the night, American television. So they know how many people are being killed by that virus. When they didn't see anybody in St. Lucia being killed, the conclusion they came to, because they're so smart, oh, we don't have that virus. In other words, if we had it here, people would die. But we didn't have it to the extent, and maybe the people who had been in contact with the virus did not have the kind of predisposing condition that the Americans had.
Anyway.
As soon as people started to die, all of a sudden, you come in and play as if you're smarter than everybody else.
They're
you
concerned.
Want to jump in.
They're concerned.
I'll tell you something, man. I'm happy I'm not the age I used to be when I was active in politics, Because I would recommend Lolo Bear for this fellas.
You've said that before.
I'm telling you.
St. Lucia, we have some footage to show you this morning. So the program, we'll be taking the calls from at about 11:30 because, Michael, we have some footage that we would like to show to the public, some of the developments, the projects. So we're going to show that in a little bit. But I want to say just one more thing on the house sitting. We will discuss the house sitting maybe next week because we don't have all the time today. That these guys are coming around, that they're so concerned about the people. You had them all of yesterday. 23 people have died.
Hypocrisy.
22 people have died.
Hypocrisy.
So there's so much on board now, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
What about October 4th? When you had your march in the midst of the virus?
They have to go and make amends to the CMO because that poor lady got pressure. And pressure from people who probably never went to school. They were repeating what they heard their bosses say. This was the saddest part of all of this,
So Michael, we're going to do it in phases. Which one would you like first? Well, you want to do the hospital first?
Let's do the hospital first.
Okay, so St. Lucia, we're going to be showing you some footage on some of the projects going around our beautiful country. So just...
St. Jude Hospital.
We're talking about the St. Jude's Hospital?
We're talking about the St. Jude's Hospital.
Okay, but I was referring to the Suffolk Hospital.
Oh, you want to do...
Well, that's what it has.
Okay, so you will narrate because we know you were the one that brought this thing about. So if you would like to see what's happening in St. Lucia, channel 115 GVD TV, we are bringing you some footage.
This is the St. Jude's Hospital.
Okay.
Okay, well, what is going on now is that it's the installation of the panels, but it is far more advanced than what we see today because I spoke to the contractor this morning, just checking to see how things are going. And what we're looking at now, that whole side is finished, and the other side...
Up and down?
And the other side is started, and they hope to finish it by tonight. Also, look at the stud walls upstairs, which was started 8 days ago. Most of that is fairly well advanced with the drywall already inserted. And I'm told that by next Saturday, most of the rooms will be all cut out and finished. Okay.
Wow, the wards you mean?
Yeah, sorry?
The wards, the rooms?
Yeah,
wow.
Because, you see the stud wall, right? That goes up very quickly, and the people have a contract, so that's going ahead quite well. Downstairs, all the piping is finished, the floor has been cast, and now and the electrical work is very much advanced already, and they're putting in their own generator. Yeah.
How did you feel, Sir Michael, when you got there to see what is happening there? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it's really incredible.
Really, incredible.
It was explained to me, but that was done 8-9 days ago when the Prime Minister was down there. So what we're looking at is 10 days old. Yeah. But
so where are we now? What is this one? This is the same hospital?
The cladding going up.
Now we can move to the Suffolk Hospital, where we got the preliminary sketches.
Yes.
And all going well. By the end of middle of April, all going well. You should start declaring because it's a very simple building, and as I explained, that in that Suffolk structure, it will be 20 rooms, but mainly a lot of equipment, all diagnostic equipment. They'll be able to diagnose any form of illness one has. Like this is only used in first world countries, and we're very fortunate to have a Norwegian company, an NGO, who was able to arrange for that to come to St.
So that
Lucia.
is what we're looking at now.
That's the one we're looking at there now. And we have the different slides, what the hostel will look like. It's on a steep bit of land. That's why it's made a long building.
Okay.
And that is what it's going to be like.
So we're looking at the sketch for the super hospital. Or
that is the super hospital.
The super, okay.
The new one that's going to go up. And again, it's a $10 million US project, and it's a state-of-the-art. And that the facilities there will not only be able to use by St. Lucian, but around the islands, because the equipment in there is incredible. Now we can go to the bridge in Kalisak. Yeah, you will see there where the over the weekend, Lucelec were there shifting all the electricity poles.
Yes.
And there'll be a road by approximately where Massey Sewer Market is.
Right.
When you're coming from Soufrière, the road will go parallel to the existing road, which takes you to the main exit for
Southbourne.
Southbourne,
yes.
Where a major roundabout will be put in, yeah.
And I'm understanding the current roundabout will be removed. That's not where it's going to be.
Come
the
again?
Current roundabout, that's not where it's going to be. We're going to have
Which current roundabout?
The one we have. Well, not a roundabout. The cul-de-sac gap, not the roundabout.
That will be. It will be all taken. It will be all encompassed.
That's right. Not the roundabout.
And this is what the bridge is going to look like, and that bridge goes right over the river. You see how high. You see, that's the river below. You see how high that bridge is? Wow. Yeah. So that to make sure there'll be no flood, and the water will not be congested anymore. Yeah. And this is what Kalisak Valley will be like.
Wow,
and
that's a huge
This is
bridge.
going to be the longest and most expensive bridge ever built in St. Lucia.
Wow.
Yeah. It is supported by the Japanese government and the St. Lucia government. Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That is nice. You wouldn't happen to know how long it is. Not you don't have
18
that number.
months. Yeah.
No, I was not talking about the duration, the length of the bridge itself.
Oh,
but
more than that, Champagne, because of the height of the bridge, the road has to start much further down to get
that elevation.
A slight incline, up and down, so it wouldn't be too high. So that's why it has become so costly.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, beautiful, beautiful. St. Lucia, you're watching some of the projects. Anything else, Mr. Cameraman?
No, that's it for now.
All right, so that's it for now, St. Lucia. We give you a little taste, if you will, of some of the projects. That cul-de-sac bridge is a huge project, a huge project.
You mean the cul-de-sac project?
Cul-de-sac project.
That's an incredible. I'll tell you something. Once that bridge, you're going to see the influx of businesses into cul-de-sac. John Compton always said that would be the next place for development. That is the next place for development.
Yes.
We have to make sure that this government stays in office. If not, the other guys might come and stop the project, because we don't eat road, Champagne.
And now, as you said that, I want to speak with the young people, those of you who are not at work today, or if you're working from home, who are employed with the Ojo Labs and the ITEL BBL.
Yeah.
Those young people, I'm appealing to you that you need to go out and vote in the next election for this administration, the UWP administration, because those businesses, ITEL BBL and Ojo Labs, has been criticized by the Labour Party, and it is occurring to me that if these guys ever set foot back in the reins of government, they will shut down those places. I am believing that.
You know, I'll tell you something. St. Lucia, St. Lucians are lovely people, but sometimes they're a bit on the shy side. And I speak from experience. When we ran the supermarkets, we had 2,500 employees. 2,500. Can you imagine that? That's a lot of people. Okay? And I learned from my partner, Mr. Williams, 35 years ago, that people have to be incorporated in a business to get the maximum out of them. Let them share in some of the spoils. And Andre Chastanet, who was the CEO of the company, I told him my wish, and we put it in. Today, there's a minimum of 250 St. Lucians who own shares in Massey's. They own 10% of Massey's today, okay?
That's beautiful.
And I'm saddened because you know the blows that they gave me when I was involved, that we were price gouging.
Yes, yes.
It went on and on and
never
on.
stopped.
Okay? And on more than one occasion, I said to a couple of the individuals who had shares, who I knew could speak. I had a show called Open Mic.
Open Mic,
I said, come on my show or another show and say what we've done. Well, we want to do it, but you have to be careful. But they're getting the money and all. But unless they send the message out and you hear it from the horse's mouth, it's not a good thing to say.
There are a lot of shy people in St. Lucia.
So,
there's still some of them reluctant
all I
to
can
call
say, Champagne,
into the
hopefully
programs.
as the years go by, with shows like yours, myself, Mr. Josie, and others who contribute meaningfully, and people will listen, not to some of those people sending the wrong message out to there, what is going on. You know, when I listen to your show on Norbert, and I listen to the quality of people who call in, I can tell the difference, you know.
Definitely.
They ask intelligent questions.
Absolutely.
Okay? And they will get an intelligent answer.
Yes. And if we don't know, we don't
It's
speculate.
correct, you know.
We don't
but
speculate.
hopefully, and that is why your station has done so well.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I listen to your station.
Yes.
The calls come in non-stop.
Nope.
Yeah.
Never stops.
Anyway,
so we are going to be taking some calls for about a half hour. If you want to ask a question regarding what you just saw on TV, 4560931, or we have our WhatsApp number. It is 4850931. We have all the 0931. 4560931 or 4850931 to ask either one of my guests, the gentleman, a question. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Champagne, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Boy, thank God. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I've been trying to get that telephone since Monday.
Well, you got it.
A man who makes a lot of sense always seems to be on for a long time, which is J. Jeremy.
Yes, oh, definitely.
And he makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
First, I heard Mr. Chastanet and Josie this morning. A few weeks ago, a few days ago, we had a confirmation from the Labour Party that the CSA is part of the Labour Party. Now, when they say the CSA, I don't think they're talking about all the members, but I think they're talking about the union. It was actually born out of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, the time the CSA was most militant was with Kalisak, Coco Charles, and Laurie Ogis. Now, Peter, you will remember that.
Yeah.
That is in the days when they wanted to break John Compton because they figured he was there too long. And they wanted to put the Labour Party in office. Since then, we have a few guys who are trying to mimic these men. But they seem to be putting common sense on one side. And they're trying to do a whole lot of nonsense. When Montrop can see that we need to close down the country, you know, what is a president of a union speaking about? How you can say something like that? You cannot close down the country.
Color, does he have that authority?
Well, he's the president of the union, but I'm sure the membership did not give him that authority.
Okay.
He took it on his own because of anything else. A whole lot of these guys, when they support Labour, they get blinded. At one time, I was so, but again, the people I used to support was Peter Josie and George Odlam.
That's right.
Nobody else. They were speaking as a young man. They were speaking my language. They were speaking about what I wanted to see happen. Proper education. You know, we had that whole thing about if you want a job at the bank, you know who would get it. You know, it had to be coming from a name from above, and it was a whole other thing. And we had to break down that system. We were able to, at that time, they were able to break down the class system, and everybody got together. At the end of the day, who was George's best friend? The same fellas he used to fight with, Kushu and a whole lot of these people. They were his best friends at the end of the day. But really, I didn't call about that. I called about the Prime Minister addressed the nation on Monday. Now, a lot of people said he said nothing. But I knew why the Prime Minister addressed St. Lucians on Monday. You were speaking about a 90-day state of emergency, and all the Labour Party was spreading is that he wants a 90-day state of emergency so that he can have an advantage because of the upcoming election.
Yeah.
And common sense would tell you that even though you have a state of emergency, the issues like COVID, something like COVID, if things get better, the state of emergency will never continue for 90 days.
Correct. That's what he said.
And he came in there, and he kept on telling them that, and he spoke to them about it. He further went and he spoke about independence. Now they're saying that he's spending money on independence. If he don't do anything on independence, you're going to have the same people.
Yeah.
It is a lot of hypocrisy going on. And I realized something. The Labour Party is playing the tune to those who do not remember. And they're playing the tune to the young people who will be 18 and 19 years old who will be voting. And these people do not know the history of the Labour Party. They surely do not know.
Well, Kola, all I could say to you is, as long as I'm up here, I will remind them of a lot of things.
Well, brother, Peter is there. Peter can give some of it. Because I know Peter was there one time and Peter left.
And you know, I love history, Kola, because unless we can refer to history, we have no compass by which to move forward.
Peter, you just like me. I love history. In fact, for the matter of fact, when I went to school, I did history in Form 4.
We have to understand the past.
When everybody did in Form 5, I did my GC in Form 4, and I got it, right?
We have to understand the past if we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Is correct.
But Kola, before I let you go, let me ask you a question.
Let me go on because I have a lot to tell you.
Oh, go ahead. Well, let me not interrupt you. Go ahead then. Go ahead.
And one of these days I'll have to come to your show.
Oh, definitely.
Come on your show.
We've been waiting for you.
Because last night, in fact, I watched that debate, and I had to laugh. The same guys who were telling the government they can't close down the country at one point will tell the government close down the country.
Yes.
Okay. The same guys who are talking about about economic activity and close down the country is telling the government to open SNS. Hear it well, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, they're telling the government to open SNS. And you know, if you open SNS, you have to open all the others.
Exactly. How can you discriminate and open only SNS?
Yes.
Yeah. You're telling the government to curtail the spread, to stop the spread. And you're asking the government to do things that will cause the COVID to spread more.
Right.
All right. A lot of the things they're telling the government to do, the government have done some of it, which worked the first time around.
Yes.
But, you know, and then you start talking about St. Kitts. You start talking about Dominica that hardly have any tourism.
Correct.
You know, hardly have anything going on like tourism or anything like that. Then you started talking about vaccines.
Yeah.
Dominica can secure vaccines. Dominica Prime Minister have enough money to waste, you know, the same way he wasted a lot on elections, and the same way every Friday he can call constituents and give them money.
Well, because don't forget, he sold a lot of passports.
I didn't even want to go there.
But it's common knowledge. You don't have to say anything wrong. Both St. Kitts and Dominica were in the business a long time, and they've sold thousands of passports.
Further with Dominica, it is not about selling passports, but it is to whom they were selling passports.
Yeah, we saw the
majority
video
of passports and what they got from it. Remember that we had that they had that show on
Al Jazeera.
Yes. Yeah, with the whole thing of whatnot, and now people talking about if they go down, a whole lot of other people will have to go down too. Well, now, these guys have the money to burn, they have the money to throw away. They can do that. But all in all, I think the government is on the right track. I know the kind of work these people at the Ezra Long laboratory have to go through because with all those tests, because before anybody have a cough now, cough, a cold, you cannot tell the difference between the flu and COVID right now. Before your nose dripping, before you start coughing, anything like that, you go for a test.
Bakola, I said on this program a few weeks ago that the SLP, they do things in the wrong, and then they know how to turn it around and place it on this government. And they are doing the same thing here with the coronavirus today. The guys are making it look like that they were on board from inception, from March, and they were not on board.
Brother, the fellas are, and they are still not on board. I can tell you something. Philippe came and talked about, when the Prime Minister, I think was last week, they were on and Philippe was on,
yes,
was
on the phone.
Yes. On that thing, he didn't show his face. And I can tell you, from what I know, Philippe wants to support. Okay? The other members of his party don't want him to.
Really?
Check it out. He wants to support. The other members of his party don't want him to.
Caller, I've suspected that, because if you notice, the guy who is up front is Hilaire.
As usual.
And the media plays him up too because of his PhD.
Because of his PhD?
Yeah. I wouldn't say anymore because I don't want anybody to say. I don't want anybody to say because Peter Josie say because of his complexion. Okay?
His complexion?
I'm not saying that. Only because of his PhD. Okay?
Let me tell you something. They have certain people in the Labour Party. Though Marxism should not continue, but there are some hard Marxist fellas in the Labour Party,
These guys don't know anything about Marx or Marxism
they figure
or Lenin. They don't know anything. Don't worry. Don't worry to take these guys on. They don't know anything. When
I hear people like him, I hear people like Pell, and I hear people talking about put the people first. All along the government is putting the people first.
Yes.
I wonder how many of them ever read Das Kapital.
and Peter, Mr. Chastanet,
Yeah.
What do you think a Labour Party would have done if they were in office now with COVID?
First of all, let me answer. Let me answer before my two guests here. First of all, OKEU would not have been open, and I could leave it there. OKEU would not have been open to accommodate the patients. The respiratory hospital at VH would not be. It would not be, because if OKU is not open, then that means the VH hospital would be taking all of the load. So this is the problem we would be having.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to give another answer on that?
Let me tell you what would happen, Ozzy. Between March, when it was first declared, and today, 1,000 St. Lucians or more would have been dead because the government of the Labour Party would not know what to do. They would have no hospital open. OKEU itself may not have been opened. Okay? And we know that based on their record.
Thank you.
All these guys can do is talk, and talk. They cannot deliver. They cannot manage. So thank God. I say that every day. I said, boy, God is good, St. Lucians pray a lot. We have a lot of decent, God-fearing people in St. Lucia. If that was not so, the Labour Party would have been in power today. And God save us. 1,000 St. Lucians or more, including me, might have perished in that thing.
But Peter, you don't think they have one or two certain fellas, if they were in office, right, and Jufali was still alive at the same time, they would be asking Jufali money to take care of St. Lucians and pocket the money?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
You
Yes.
Too?
Day before yesterday, or was it Saturday, I had occasion to pass Fuasho, near Fuasho. I said to myself, when I was in government, whether it's opposition or in government, and I have a constituency like that, South Castries on the middle there, just by the waterfront there. So many people are coming from Dominica and Martinique and wherever, and they land there. The first thing that hits you is that site of Fuasho, which is over 50 years old.
That's right.
That is what, in fact, it's probably more broken down than I remembered it 50 years ago. A guy who has had rubbed shoulders with Juvali, someone, and I tell you, Ozzy, I've traveled, I've been in government, I've been traveling on my own. And these guys, when they want to get things done, they always sweeten the pot. Okay? I used to get calls from Chicago as a minister, people I don't know. And Chicago in those days and before that was the headquarters of corruption in the States. Invited me to dinner at Chef Harry. One thing George Odlum always said to me, Peter, as a minister of government, if you're going anywhere to have lunch or dinner with anybody, bring your permanent secretary with you and your recording secretary.
Right.
So no minister of government, if he or she knows what they're doing, you don't go to any dinner with any foreigner who wants to invest without your PS and your recording secretary, because you are going to a formal meeting where you're representing your country.
Anyway, caller, you asked the question.
I want to tell our nation. I also want to tell our nation that open their eyes. No other government has developed St. Lucia more than the United States.
That is a fact. That is a fact. We ring the bell on that. That is a fact.
And if they look at what has happened from 2016 to now, the Prime Minister said give him 3 years to organize, and then afterwards things will take off.
Mm-hmm.
And think this government have worked more than any other government
in the history.
In the history of St. Lucia.
That's right.
And there are signs to see what that government is looking for St. Lucians to make our lives better.
Yeah. I would say that Sir John left a foundation, and Alan is building on that foundation faster than I myself thought he could do.
How you put it.
I'm not trying to put him down, but I think he's doing better than I imagined that he would do. That is my honest opinion.
This country is on its way to a lot of good things to happen to us.
Yes,
and I could look at what's going to happen when that COVID thing passes. We would be ready. We would be ready to take off.
That's right.
We would not stay back. And after COVID now, we have to restart.
Now, caller, this is the reason why. This is the reason why they want this government to shut down the country.
Because they want to
break it down.
That's the reason.
To break it down.
Correct.
So the government would look bad, and we all know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
These are guys who are going to burn a cockroach.
Oh yes.
Who is going to kill a cockroach to burn the whole house? Burn a cockroach and destroy the whole house.
Yeah.
That is these guys. If they're not in office, nothing runs.
But you ask us the question, and we have not gotten your response. We going to be 2 answers in regards to if the SLP was in power.
No, if the SLP was in office and we had COVID-1,
yeah,
Alan the Prime Minister have more contacts
yes,
than these guys in opposition now. These guys would not know where to turn.
for sure.
And the way they behave, and the Labour Party has always been a selfish party. Always been a selfish. Now, when I hear Philip here talk about victimization and whatnot, I want to ask him who was the acting Prime Minister when 20-something people got fired at City Council.
Yes.
And this present government had to pay something like almost $3 million
That's right.
to these workers. You know, I know him. I can go straight into his face and tell him, boy, do you remember when you were working as an accountant? I think it was Skeet and Company. I think Neville Skeet had a brother. Is it Neville Desmond? One of the other brothers who had an accounting firm. I used to work for you, Mr. Chastanet. And I used to bring in your books. I used to bring your books in there. Your books in there. And I could have heard this gentleman once making fun of one of the foster boys when FedEx had just opened.
Terry,
and a few of us had to argue with him. He was calling the guy a plane messenger.
Wow.
The courier service.
Wow.
He was calling Terry.
Yes.
Terry wasn't there, but he was saying Terry is a plane messenger. FedEx came in, it was an innovative idea, you know, at that time, you know, the planes and move from country to country.
Yeah.
So that shows you the mentality of people like that.
Yeah.
It shows you very vindictive and love to victimize.
I think you were thinking of Bovel and Skeet. The company that,
Bovel, yes, Skeet, right up there in Judas building upstairs.
And that guy was Neville's cousin, not brother.
Yeah, one of them, but he Skeet, very good, very good accountant.
Yeah.
And I saw the other guys who used to work there, like Mondesi and all those guys, making a whole lot of noise with him. And mind you, at that time, you know what he was? He was a United Workers' Party supporter, Philip Pierre. He hated George Odlum. I could never forget that.
Okay.
He and that guy, that assistant commissioner of police who always used to be with him, he died a few years ago. I think they have something in his name from NIC, which Emma set up and whatever.
Frederick.
Not Frederick.
These two guys used to be together all the time. I could never forget that. That was the guy that used to record the meetings, right, Peter?
Yeah,
the Labour Party meetings.
So, caller, these people are turning.
Go ahead, man. But St. Lucians,
yes,
no other government in St. Lucia will take care of you more than the United Workers' Party. This is the government that has developed St. Lucia, will continue to develop St. Lucia, and as far as you can see now, you can see where the government is heading and what the government wants to give to all of us.
All right. Thanks a lot, caller.
Okay,
and we are expecting your visit. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we had a call on WhatsApp. Hello, good morning. Okay, so we lost this one. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Champagne, to add on to what Ozzy just said.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, we were already on the runway to take off.
Yeah, for sure.
And just COVID came and stopped the flight. But we will get there. We will take off.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say something I see at least you're getting some potholing done in Masha.
Yes, I wanted to talk about that. Yes, I saw that.
Thanks to the Ministry of Infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. And caller, you know the representative who happens to be the opposition leader never pushed the government into doing that potholing in Masha. Despite the fact that road was in such a bad condition, he been at the house on numerous occasions, never asked the government. I mean, you the rep, the roads are bad in Masha. Well, maybe he never saw it because he doesn't use the Masha road, he uses Waterworks. You know that's where he used, right? Leslie to go home. Never push the government to ask them to try to do something with the potholes in Masha.
And the government in all its good at is not even being selfish.
No. All right, caller, thanks a lot.
Champagne, I wanted to make a short statement and to support Sir Michael on what he said about this guy who attacked the preacher, the lady, the Anglican churchman.
Yeah, let's do the call first. Good morning to you, hello.
Good morning, Champagne. Good morning, Sir Michael.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
I haven't heard you said anything concerning what Monday Louis said about they have no respect to give to the Prime Minister. But I want to remind them that they were the first that disrespected Sir John.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Stephen King saying that he's a little boy, and they walked out on him in the house and all sorts of nonsense. I want you to remind situations of those events.
Mm-hmm. All right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, caller. Our WhatsApp number is 485-0931 if you're trying to get us on WhatsApp. And I see some calls coming on WhatsApp, but a beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Good morning.
Well, I'm saying, the Prime Minister, I play basketball with this man. I remember when the father take this man in this garden and play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And this man so dread and earth man. The man used to go and take the ball in the gutter where all fellas shitting, bend down and shit, can we? And we used to play basketball there.
Yeah.
And Alan used to take the ball in that same shit water and bounce between us. I believe his best friend was a fella named Kaye. He was always there with Kaye.
Okay.
Chris, all them fellas. Aishin?
Aishin, of course.
How you mean? Is I talking
Yes,
there?
yes, Aishin, yes, I know.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yes.
And they can't change we.
Yes.
I haven't seen you in a little while, man. Where are you now?
I am at my home right now.
No, I mean, what part?
Lucia.
What part? Where is St. Lucia?
Roseville.
Aishin.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we normally used to see you walking the beach. I don't see you walking the beach these days.
You doesn't be there. Every morning.
Okay,
and my dog walking.
Okay, great. How old are you now, Aishin? You're about what now, 65?
I am 73 years, man.
Wow. That's good. I thought you were younger than that.
Yesterday I go and shine Sir John's shoe.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the monument? The statue?
Yes, I go and shine that, man.
Yes.
So, let there be a bride day, man. We all going to see the bride day, man.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Aishin.
You're right, man.
All right,
I'll have 15 years to go.
That's right.
Very positive.
All right,
Very positive.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, champion.
Good morning to you, sir. Hello. Good morning. You're breaking up, caller. I could barely hear you. Hello.
I just got...
We're not hearing him.
No.
We're not hearing him. Yeah, please do. Good morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, Champagne, I just forgot something.
Yeah.
The priest, the Anglican priest,
Uh-huh.
who made the statement, and it really didn't have too much to do with the politics.
Exactly.
But there was an individual's voice that kept on attacking her. Do you know the individual?
I think
I just mentioned that.
The individual was a gentleman who always wanted to be the president of the Olympic Association in St. Lucia.
Oh,
He's
I know
in your
who he is.
constituency in Masha.
I know who he is.
I'm going to call his name Alfred.
Ah, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. And an educated guy used to be a teacher. I mean, Lord knows. So
but caller, listen. But caller, the lady said nothing in relation to politics, you know.
Absolutely
nothing.
It's you see, that's the Labour Party's mentality.
My goodness, man.
All right, that's so I let you know. He's in your constituency.
I know him very well.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Hi. Hello.
Go ahead, caller. I could hear you. Go ahead, caller. Just speak to us. Yes, go ahead. Just speak to us. We don't listen to your radio.
Okay. I'm trying to get your station every morning. I'm calling from the US Virgin Islands. So I'm trying to get your station.
Yes, sir. Well, we're on 93.1, and if you go to Radio Garden, maybe you could download that on your phone. Radio Garden, you could find us there as well. Sky FM.
Radio Garden.
Yeah, go on Radio Garden on your app store, and you could put it on your phone as an app. Go on Radio Garden and type that in. And then you could get us on Sky FM 93.1.
Well, I'm trying to use Sky FM 93.1 and I'm not going to.
Tell him go on his phone. Go on your phone.
I will send you the link, okay? I will send you the link so you could listen to us on your phone, okay?
Oh, give me. I appreciate it.
I have your number there. Do you want to say anything else? Any contributions to St. Lucia? How is the people up there?
I'm good for now. We're doing good.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Okay, then. I'll send you the link.
I want you to just hold the lines for 1 second.
Okay, thanks a lot, caller.
Have
a good day.
For the public.
All right.
Yeah, at the House of Parliament yesterday, some of those opposition people heard the news from South Africa that the
variant, the South African variant,
AstraZeneca is not that great, and all that, and that's what we're getting here.
Yes, I heard them say that.
I've just got this thing from London. I'll read it to the nation.
Yeah.
For those who had second dose, for protection rate increased to between 79% and 84% for all ages. The Oxford AstraZeneca jab is similarly robust. Oh, shucks. 1 second.
Yeah, you touched it.
Anyway,
yeah, this happens when you touch it. By accident, it comes out. Yeah.
Just give us 1 second, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to it. But basically, what they're saying, it has worked like a charm.
Wow.
And that 65% of the cases that were going to hospital have stopped, and the people leaving hospital are coming down radically from that vaccine.
Oh, yes.
So it's just showing how well it's working, okay?
Yeah. And the Labour Party jumped on the bandwagon saying that and that's the
Britain's vaccine drive is working. Official figures reveal Pfizer and Oxford, the vaccine, are cutting the risk of falling ill with coronavirus by 65%, as well as slashing hospitalization in ray of hope for ending lockdowns. That's how quickly it's happening there. So the part I was reading, the AstraZeneca jab is similarly robust according to official data set to be released in the coming days. The study is a boost for Tory critics of Matt Hancock, who yesterday savaged the health secretary for his forever lockdown after he warned that border restrictions might need to remain until the autumn. So in other words, a bigger section of the Europe say, stop the lockdowns, which is what our Prime Minister is saying. You cannot lock down. And as I said, we got 1,000 vaccines this morning, and the balance are coming in 2 weeks' time, enough for the entire condition.
All right, so we'll turn back the phone lines on if you'd like to call us, 4560931. Okay, we have a WhatsApp call coming in. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Champagne.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Champagne, normally when one speaks, I wait about an hour or so and try to remember the things which one said in order to decide what had the greatest impact on me. Right? I listened to the leader of the opposition yesterday, and what I remembered was attacks on me, for about 15 or 20 occasions.
Yes, he did say, I remember that.
He also spoke of victimization, and I think that was basically it. As far as I am concerned, other persons may have interpreted his speech in a different way. Now, let us look at the attacks. Who is Philip J. Pierre? Isn't he the leader of the opposition?
Yes, he is.
Doesn't he expect that people will make comments related to the things that he says?
Oh, indeed.
Isn't the Prime Minister the leader of the country?
He's the Prime Minister.
And don't we expect people will comment on the things that he says?
Mm-hmm.
It comes with the job. However, I noticed a completely different reaction to the accusations by the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition. And that's where leadership comes from. A leader must never be afraid to face the criticisms. But a leader must know how to react to the criticisms. You know, listening to Philip here yesterday, I almost called him a crybaby. As though he was seeking support from the people, like a grade 6 schoolboy.
I saw the same thing, Caller. I noticed the same thing. Yeah.
That's what I saw. Like,
Crying,
he was being bullied, and he was appealing to people to come over and save him, please, please, please,
But
because there are attacks on him.
Caller. That might be true, but the attacks you can't see because it's coming from his own side. You see the point I'm making?
Oh, thank you very much,
It was
Peter.
a cry for help
Because
for the pressure he's under within his party.
Thank you very much, Peter, because I watched him, I looked at his facial movements,
His demeanor.
and he seemed to be glancing. He seemed to be glancing towards members of his side from time to time.
Thank you.
So this was just the thinking I got. Maybe, I said just maybe, he's being hit from both sides.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, gentlemen.
All right,
now,
Caller.
Champagne.
Yes, sir.
Champagne.
Yes, sir.
Before I go,
Yes, sir.
I have told you over and over that one's level of education has absolutely no bearing.
I'm there. Hello?
Yes, Sky FM.
Good morning.
Champagne. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Tuso Michael and Mr. Peter Josie.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have a few little points I want to highlight.
Go ahead, darling.
One of you all, Mr. Michael will answer me. So, Michael, why did the supporter of some people say that your son don't listen? Can you answer that? He doesn't listen. And I see he's very passionate when he said, you think it's easy for me to make a decision and to close the bars? And the people that have the little shop, you could see the passionate when he's saying that. And they're saying that he don't listen.
Let me just answer to that question very quickly. I heard it from the Prime Minister's own lips on television. The number of calls and suggestions he gets, he's one man. He has to analyze. He cannot just go and make a decision by what everybody tells him and change it. He has to sit back and wait and decipher what is best for the country. And I think people misinterpret that to not listening.
Okay, another thing again, yep, there was a petition going around that they want SNS to be open. I was in favor of it. But when I look at it, our people are not disciplined. When you say you're going to open SNS, people from all over the island rush into SNS. They don't keep the protocol. When they're inside, they don't follow the protocol. Even yesterday, I was somewhere in a supermarket, and I could see the people in the back of each other. They don't look and follow the protocol. So we have this thing in us that we don't obey, we don't listen. So the stores has to be closed. Give me a little feedback on the SNS issue.
Yeah.
Can you talk on it so that the people can understand why it's not opening? I'm listening.
Okay, Kola. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's.
Sorry, Kola. I thought you said you were
I'm
listening.
glad that you asked that because just earlier in the show, I made the comparison between St. Lucia and St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, it's
Hold on a minute, Kola. Hold on a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is true.
Is running there. You give the callers the priority. You could answer later on.
All right, we'll call back, Kola, please.
Peter Josie.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Peter Josie, you have been under criticism for that Kulewai thing you used on the radio. You remember that?
Go ahead, Kola. Go with your question.
As a listener, I forgive you. You were just making an observation of the St. Lucian attitude to people of. Also, some time ago you said that black people are the true children of Israel. They suffer just because of the color of the skin, and I respect you for saying that. It doesn't mean it is not false, but I respect you as a black man for making that observation. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Kola. You're responding to the caller regarding the SMS.
Yeah, for instance, I made an analogy between St. Lucia and St. Kitts.
Sure.
It's true, St. Lucia has 3 times the population, but people in St. Kitts are adhering to the protocols. We are not adhering to the protocol. Not all of us, some of us are, some of us are not. And you talk of the people at the supermarket. What about the 1,500 St. Lucians that came home for Christmas? And they told them that they need to be home quarantined. They were all about the place. Lawyers in St. Lucia who want to know better were having parties over the Christmas. In St. Kitts, listen to that carefully, and you can check it out yourself. If you are a Kittitian and you come back as a visitor, you want to go to your home, you have to pay for 3 guards and provide toilet facilities for those guards, or else you go into a hotel and you have to pay. This government has paid millions of dollars over the last 5 months. They took as much as 5 hotels at one point, giving them 3 meals a day. Imagine that. Putting them in quarantine, they were scaling the wall and running away. They were bringing their partners inside the facility,
that's for sure.
right? And that is the problem that we have.
We have to be reminded of those things.
So that's my answer, caller.
Thanks for holding, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Champagne.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Sir Michael, for your insight as usual. And Mr. Josie, I can only speak for myself when I say that most St. Lucians, I think that we fail to appreciate all that you, as a seasoned politician and well-known revolutionary, bring to the table. When I think of the combined wisdom that Sir Michael and yourself represent, I think that that should be embraced and appreciated. You know. But having said that, I sometimes wonder why all the personal attacks on yourself and Sir Michael, and why isn't there a sense of fair play from the SLP? Why all the character assassination? And I sometimes I say to myself, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that their strategy is that if you cannot dismantle the message, then you attack the messenger.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. You answered the question.
Exactly what it is, and it is just sour grapes.
You answered the question correctly, caller.
All right, caller.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. You have something else you wanted to ask?
I wanted to ask Mr. Josie, did you ever have the pleasure of meeting Walter Rodney?
No, unfortunately, I never met with Walter Rodney. At the time, I was very active in Trinidad, and I remembered when Jamaica didn't allow him to come in. I was at UE at St. Augustine, and we had demonstrations. I was on the student council. Stuart Granger, later became Dave Darbo, Stuart Granger. Granger became Daga. We had demonstrations in Port of Spain and things, you know, but personally, No, I have read his book and I still have it as a memento, how Europe underdeveloped Africa. But I never met him personally.
Well, he has a very good book called People's Power. Did you read that one?
No, I haven't. I haven't not.
Well, that's another one of the problems that we have here. We simply don't read.
Yeah.
You know?
That is the problem.
And sometimes we don't get our hands on the things we need to read. I just finished reading Obama's book, and after that I read Rachel Maddow's Bagman. And this was sent to me by one of my kids from New York.
All right, Colin?
Right.
All right, you have a good day, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, beautiful. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Jumpin.
Good morning. You have a lot of wind in your area.
Well, boy, where I am, it's kind of windy. I hope you hear me clear enough.
We could hear you better now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Now, let me tell you, man, it's sad when you see the opposition don't care about foreign investment.
Yeah.
I have a problem with them for that. Those guys don't want to see St. Lucia going forward. The reason I am saying that, you see the carbon development, that is a wonderful, wonderful project for St. Lucia and the Caribbean. Because you're talking about 18-hole golf course. And it's not only for the tourists or how you want to call it, it's for everybody. It's a professional golf course. So when you have that big investment down here, sooner or later you'll hear about a St. Lucia Open. Now you'll see great stars like maybe Tiger Woods, little boy just coming up, he's just about 12 years old. You have all the great leaders in golf will stay a visit to St. Lucia.
Yeah.
And to make it even better for St. Lucia, you have PSS in the south. You understand? Where that could create a lot of employment. But praise God that I hope St. Lucians are looking at their interest and do not listen to the St. Lucia Labour Party with all the negative vibe about carbon. I had a tour on the 18-hole golf course. And in my opinion, there's a lot of lies on that golf course. When people talking about the cactus has been destroyed, that's a big lie. Big lie, St. Lucian, by the opposition and so-called Mr. Greedy Joe. Let me tell you something. Once I was there, I had a knife. I was going to cut a cactus for me to eat. But St. Lucians don't know they're eating cactus. They do eat cactus. Because when you're in the wine, the desert, you do eat cactus. It's like cucumber. And the guy tell me, no, please. These are preserved species. I said, what? The man prevented me. And let me tell you something. You see that golf course? You know the beauty of the golf course? The same cactus they say the guys are destroying, that is the beauty of the 18-hole golf course.
Yeah, they have.
And let me tell you something. That could create a lot of job opportunities for young people. And when the opposition talking about, you know, the nonsense they're talking about, and I totally supporting the Prime Minister of the day for bringing investors like Cabot and DFH and many more. And to make it worse again, I want to see 100 more investors in St. Lucia when the United Workers' Party return to power.
Yes.
But for it to happen, I am calling on all young St. Lucians to vote the United Workers' Party. The reason for that, the Labour Party has discredited the young people of St. Lucia, especially the Ojo lab, where you leave school there, you qualify, you get a job, you can make up to $3,000 every month. Not the stupid thing by the roadside, $20 an hour.
Yeah.
That's what you want to happen. And you're talking about slavery for poor people. Philip J. Pierre, you have to stop that. If you fall in short, I figure you should check yourself before going and make statements in Parliament and telling people if they're eating road. One question I ask for you, you're passing a laptop on tablet. You know? I don't understand
people
you.
that eat tablet in St. Lucia and Caller, don't forget that. You heard?
Yeah, Caller.
You know, the problem I have with those guys there, they don't have the foresight, they cannot govern, they cannot bring St. Lucia forward. And the thing, with all what is happening, they are afraid.
Yeah.
Now that's why I'll have to go back with the slogan of the Plabo. You pay!
You pay. All right, Caller, thanks a lot.
That is the bottom line.
And thanks for
I am fully endorsed in the carbon project.
Amen.
100%. And
right.
to see, and your trust, stop spreading the propaganda. I will campaign and let the young St. Lucians know you're depriving them of getting a good job.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Caller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Caller.
And he was speaking about the carbon development.
I wanted to
And
ask
we all
one
know
question before we end Champagne.
Yes. Let's take two more calls. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Champagne. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And good morning to your guest.
Morning, morning, ma'am.
Mr. Champagne, I will say that all the time. I will say it. Philip JP always saying victimization. My husband was working in a school for 16 years. When they get to know he is a UWP, they send him home.
Wow.
Next day, they bring somebody in the school. He have one child. It was one that going to the college, one going to Korean. I in the house, I not working.
Yeah.
How I paying my bills? How we eating? They tell him when he is 65 years, he will get everything he have to get. You will see the people too bad.
Oh, yeah, they have done that.
Philip JP is saying about victimization.
They have done that to a lot of people, Caller. A lot of people. A lot of
That's
solutions.
they fire Joyce Ogis too.
Yeah. They have done that
And
to a lot of
talking about
solutions.
victimization.
They invented the word, Caller. Victimization was invented by the Labour Party. I could tell you that. That is their MO.
16 years the man working in a school.
Yeah.
They now give him a black center and they send him home.
Wow.
Because they get to know he's a flabo.
Caller, let me remind you of something. I'm sure you're old enough to remember.
Yeah.
One of the big conventions the Labour Party had after they got into office in 1997 was at Babuno.
Yes.
And these guys moved a resolution that I had never heard at all in my political life in St. Lucia. A resolution to give only Labour supporters work.
Yeah.
And only George Odlum, bless his soul, and I guess there was one other person, it might have been Kenneth John of Babuno. These were the only two guys who said, guys, we cannot do that. People have their friends. I've been in politics. If somebody has been campaigning with me on my platform, and I have an opportunity to help them, I will help them. But I cannot shut the door to everybody else because you don't know everybody who voted for you.
They don't care with
These guys actually moved a resolution.
Okay. All right, darling.
These
Thanks a
guys
lot.
actually moved a resolution, Champagne. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I remember
that.
That's the MO. They
And
believe
God
in that.
bless Odlum and the other person I believe was Kenneth John.
Yeah. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Champagne.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
And good morning to your guest, Mr. Peter Josie and Sir Michael Chastanet.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, I tried to call earlier, but I'd like to add my voice to the male caller before this lady. And just like to give a message to my young people. Before I say that, I would just like to say as well that, the Labour Party, I remember in my days growing up, at 18 years old, I've said that before, my family were SLPs. But what they used to do, they used to go listen to both parties. And they used to be tagged along. So this helped me to understand. I cannot say that I understand too much about politics, but it made me see something different. But I will still hasten to say the SLP of the day is not the SLP today. There's a big difference with the SLP today and the SLP of yesterday. We could have gotten something and have that. We could have been, and we had the opportunity to balance and wonder, should I vote for SLP? Should I vote for UWP? But now there is nothing in between. There is a clear-cut case that this UWP party is a party who is going to move our country forward.
The
And I always
SLP.
enjoy the callers like Mr. JJ and the other caller, the male caller before, and some of the women who call, you know, and educate us as to the things that some of us do not, well, we know, but a blind mice can see what the country is doing. There's so many things, you know, and to help us and to, remind us as to what's going on in the country. But I have a message for our youth. I remember years gone by, many of our youth would leave even Sir Arthur Lewis, and they were not getting jobs. I remember there was a young girl, she left Sir Arthur Lewis, and she had to go at JQ and pack and bag messages, and she was not ashamed. Until she did that, until she was able to get a job at the bank. Some children are ashamed because they come from university or Sir Arthur Lewis, and they don't want to do those jobs. But this was happening to those children way back then. And up until UWC came in power, the children are now getting, the youth, you are now getting an opportunity, my youth. Please make the right decision. Analyze what is going on in your life. You are able to stand for yourself. You are able to go to a bank and get a loan. Do not make that decision. Do not let the SLP fool us, because 4 years ago, St. Lucia was somewhere that we did not like, and they were put out of power.
For the benefit of the young people, not one single young person, particularly those that work at the call centers, should vote for the SLP. You know,
exactly.
Do you remember the amount of criticism that the Ojo Labs took from the SLP?
I remember, and I'm calling on the youth at the Ojo Lab as well. And many of you will get more jobs. The jobs come in, so make the right decision. Do not put the SLP back in power, because you all are going back to the same place where you all were. Put the youth up, because they are the ones. We see the vision. Support our Prime Minister. Support Mr. Alan Michael Chastanet.
That's right.
Thank you. Well said, caller. Well said.
Caller.
Okay,
well
thank
said.
you.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
All
well
right, beautiful.
Said.
Let's take our buddy here from Bermuda. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Champion. Good morning to the greatest elderly statesman in the world.
Good afternoon.
So Peter Josie,
Yes, sir.
Michael Chastanet.
Good afternoon.
I didn't know you had
Peter Josie.
I didn't know you had special preference there, man. We said we were taking 2 more calls, and I see you have been accommodated by.
I have to do that. If
by
I don't do
champagne.
that, I'm going to be in trouble.
Okay. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm a stepchild everywhere I go, because nobody likes this walk back.
Okay.
Nobody likes me. I don't worry about that. Because they hated Jesus. Jesus was the best thing.
I asked you, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, sir.
Good.
Hope you're all right.
Good.
I hope Sir Michael is the best of health, because I need you all around for another 50 years.
Thank you.
Another 50 years. And I need to see you united.
Thank you,
So
brother.
Michael.
Thank you.
My brother.
So Michael.
Yes.
Everything you say, everything you said on this station, since you be on this station, is very true. In Barbados, even if you said, even if both people are from the same party, they're gonna ask you, oh, I hate beer. Why you hate beer? They're just gonna take it out there. They're just gonna debate why you hate beer. That's what they do. They always educate themselves. First thing in the morning, they want the newspaper. Very, very true. So Michael, in St. Lucia, you just tell them a coach above the moon, and they run the goal and replace. Oh, can you see a coach above the moon? No, they ain't playing that. They just tell them,
caller, it's not our fault, you know. We were really backward in this education thing, you know. Barbados has been ahead of us a long, long, long way ahead, a long, long time ago. Don't forget Barbados.
And you know why?
Barbados was England's special colony.
Yes, you didn't England the West. And you know why? Because when Barbados, every leader that Barbados picked, every prime minister they picked, they always raised the bar. The only man I was seeing in St. Lucia to compare the rest of the leaders of Barbados is the great man right now we have, the visionary Prime Minister, Sir Alan Michael Chastanet. I'll tell you why. To my mind, Oscar Sandiford and Prime Stewart, they were the two worst. And they inherited leadership in Barbados because they got in after the Prime Minister died. Okay? But all the rest of the leaders of Barbados, from Sir Bradley Adams to Sir L. Barrow to Tom Adams, Bruce and John, he's the only one that inherited. That was very good. Owen Affer, and then you have the great Mayor Motley. But let me tell you something. All of them put together. Let me tell you, let me go further. In Barbados, they just had a way of telling us solutions are not usually stupid, but when they produce somebody, they produce a gem. They produce a gem, whether it's football, cricket, or whatever. They say, we always produce a gem. That gem covers for all. And I can tell you something. That gem we produce is Sir Michael's son. Sir Michael Chastanet son. Sir Alan Michael Chastanet. You want to tell you? That man is a gem. To me, he's the greatest leader on the planet. Okay? Something else I will tell you. Oh God, it slipped me, man. I have so much to say, man. So much to say.
Well, you might have to wait for next Wednesday.
Oh, anybody with common sense, as Sir Michael said. Sir Michael said common sense is not common. It is very true.
Yeah.
How much somebody ever carry this thought? Even the thought of voting for that SFB, just the thought is disgusting. That should not cross your mind. That should not cross your mind because that's poison. That is poison.
Caller, there's one question I wanted to ask earlier, and I'm sorry to disturb you. I want to ask it to you. You don't have to answer now. You can answer next week. I have seen pictures of Ralph Gonzalez, my good friend from St. Vincent, the Prime Minister. I've seen pictures of Mia Motley, and I believe in St. Vincent the PM has received the vaccine. I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer now, don't you think that if Alan Chastanet, Mr. Alan Chastanet, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, don't you think that if he wanted the vaccine ahead of all other St. Lucians, that he would have had one already? Okay?
Long time.
In other words, he is concerned not about himself first, but about the people of St. Lucia. Right.
Call, I'll give you one more minute. We are done way over time.
I saw this man. I see this face of that man. That man put country before him. That's why I'm behind him.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make to you.
This man of country way in front of him. I see this man turn red. I said, let's turn red. I sit down with this man. And all of a sudden, he was on it. I never forget it. He was on his laptop at Southampton, Princess Hotel here in Bermuda. And I sit down with him. And this man is on his laptop. And all of a sudden, I see this man just get mad. He said, Leonard, I'm tired of this nonsense. Barbados had their turn. Jamaica had their turn. Trinidad had their turn. It's our turn now. And at the time, he was Minister of Tourism. I say, why do you want to buy it? I ain't say nothing. He said, already. I know I ain't say nothing. Boy, the man got mad. Listen, sir, man. I love that man all the way. So, Michael, I'm going down with your son.
All right.
I'm going down with him.
Okay, my friend. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.
And don't forget, thank you, be nice to Peter Josie, and you'll take the first doses because I need your life. Okay?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you.
All right, so listen, we've come to the end of the calling program.
I just got a message.
Yeah.
With all what's going on in the pandemic.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister just got a call a couple hours ago that American Airlines is going to be providing a flight a week direct from Dallas starting next month.
Oh, yeah. Listen, this is what you call preparation.
Correct.
And have we have flights from Dallas to St. Lucia?
Direct.
Yeah.
No. We have from New York. We have
That's
from
what
Atlanta.
I'm saying. I'm hearing that for the first time.
Yeah, we have from Boston.
Yeah.
Wow.
From Dallas direct.
That has never happened before.
This is what you call vision. Sure. So let's assume we had shut down, let's say from December.
Precisely.
So if we had shut down and we said we were going to open up in March, you think we'd have gotten a call with American Airlines? You have to wait months after that to put everything in place so we can have that thing. Any last words, Sir Michael?
Yeah, well, St. Lucia, as usual, I assume that many of you listened to my contribution today, and I'm looking forward to two very important startups this week, and I want to go there tomorrow to see exactly how far they got with the bridge in Kalisak. Also, I want to go down to St. Jude's. I gave them 10 days, so I want to have a good surprise when I go down there. And that's about my contribution.
Yeah, don't forget we have to do that road up there in Bogies. That long road there. Yeah, we're going to bring Peter with us. I heard Peter has motion sickness, so he vomits sometimes.
Listen to me. We have been saying how gullible some of our people are.
Yeah.
Don't talk this nonsense about me at all. Not even as a joke.
Exactly.
That's George and
I take it back.
George Odlum and I always had that problem.
I take it back.
I said, George, in St. Lucia, you have to choose what joke you get because you know our people.
It's true. I take it back.
No. I have no motion sickness. I'm fine. But you know what?
Yeah.
I have not been pressing either you or Sir Michael.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it to your consciences. Whenever you all are ready, just give me a day's notice. That's the only condition I make.
All right.
Give me a day's notice, okay?
All right. Anything from you, Brother Peter?
I just want to say that I'm very happy as usual that I come here and I try to share my experiences. And I'm quite surprised to hear the person whom Josie said called. And I didn't expect that from this guy. But, you know, sometimes when politics gets in your head, you know,
yeah.
I, as bad and radical as people may have thought that I was and probably still am, I would not insult anybody in the church.
Yeah.
But I believe there's something deeper than that. I don't think it was about that woman as such. It may very well have been that this guy is not accustomed to having female priests. That woman had short hair. That is not something people are accustomed to, and people feel that it's out of place. It's infradig to have a female preacher.
I don't think so. I think they just brought in the politics into the equation because the lady said nothing out of the way.
Well,
all she was saying is we need to have a little more respect.
But I believe these things usually, Champagne, are deeper than what is being expressed.
Yeah.
You know, this kind of bitterness. The woman and the situation is not responsible for the bitterness.
Right.
That comes from a deeper place.
Okay.
So this person has to examine themselves. That woman could not have been the reason for that hostility.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. Thanks again, gentlemen. Once again, we have come to the end of our program with our two honorable men, St. Lucia, every single Wednesday. Join us next Wednesday, God willing, for another program with our two gentlemen. We have a call on the WhatsApp. Good morning. Hello. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How are you? So, someone pou dia, mo katon tout chime, but ma atan chime tonel la.
Chime tonel la ka koumase, yo hani tout bay?
Oh, ya koumase, ok,
non, il pas koumase, mais yo hani tout bay en place pour koumase. Et puis ciment pour
oui, c'est really important.
Oui.
All right.
That's mine.
So, ça a dit gouvernement.
Oui, allez, moi là.
Ça a dit gouvernement qu'on a voté flambeau, moi c'est flambeau.
Oui, Dodo.
So, on a voté so, on va avoir des Chastanet. I go pour moi na wan pay yani un shine right now ko mo ki mamai. Et puis mon pas travail, shame qui pas travail. So, on a demandé il faut une donation en bagay, mais c'est passé, garder pour bagay, il faut une commission bagay en tout monde.
Well, écoutez ça. Non, écoutez ça Dodo. Le coronavirus la venu premier quoi. Premier ministre là ba un chay l'argent, on comprend yo ba tout le monde $1,500. Vous changez ça. Bon, l'argent ça même quand monde te ka di bay moun l'argent. Gouvernement pays cette lycée nous adan moi adan tout. Nous pas ni l'argent côté nous adan réserve pour point l'argent bay. C'est because of virus là tout bay la croisé. À présent so nous pour garder pour si nous avions ouvert pour monde commencer bien travailler encore. OK?
Ok.
Mais nous gagnons, gouvernement gagne du temps. Ok, Dodo.
C'est ça l'homme qui va travailler. Comment tu vas travailler?
Oui.
Il m'a oui, il va travailler.
Oui, la mauvais en la terre, Dodo. Il mauvais, même, il mauvais en la terre, c'est pas fort personne.
Oui, on va les attendre, on va attendre si tu fais de là. Moi, on va être un peu là, moi, ça me fait la journée.
Ah, ça va.
C'est mon assurance, c'est mon pas écouter.
Je pas écouter.
Moi déjà j'explique.
Eh bien, on écoute pour si le ministre a nianti la vie en côté gars bay mon encore mais ça fini mais peut-être délai.
Oui, même ça tu commission, mais ça yo même qui ka travail là, c'est ministre mais ça met petit bagaille, ça commission bagaille, tu bail les mon qui est libre.
Oui. OK Dodo, moi ga dire ça.
Yes, darling. Say from who kill and I was choisir. Il m'a fait servir. C'est moi qui m'en pour manger pour.
OK, Doudou, n'a vin voir pas. OK.
Yes, you can get parler encore.
All right, darling. Yeah, bonne journée.
Yes, okay.
All right,
Yeah,
beautiful.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Champagne.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Peter still there?
Peter has left already.
I wanted to remind him. He was speaking about that motion which they, after the 1997 election, I think.
Uh-huh.
He said, only Labour Party people could have gotten jobs, a motion to give.
That's in Babono, yes.
I want him to say it as it is. It was a motion moved by Andrew Antoine.
Uh-huh.
It was called affirmative
Action, that's right.
Yeah, and
That's
I want
right.
him to remember, I tell you all, fellas, I have
That's
to
right.
come on there and give
yes.
the younger people the whole history.
Now, when you
of the
come in,
Labour Party.
you have to come with Peter and Sir Michael. I would love that program.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Anytime you're ready, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Great. Yes, yes. I remember that affirmative action that was discussed, and that was going to give our friend all of the authority that he needed to do whatever he wanted. All right, Senator, say it is 12:33. We are going up until 1 o'clock, and then you could continue to call. Good afternoon to you. Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm just calling to get the WhatsApp.
Next week, you may hear something about COVID because we held our match this afternoon. Because when they come sooner than later and say something about COVID, you will know that they are lying. You'll see what happens when the party puts its might behind a protest. And that's why we call everyone to join us, because then you will see what the party's might is all about.
Prime Minister Honorable Alan Chastanet has issued a rallying call to all St. Lucians amid the most trying time for the nation. The Office of the Prime Minister has launched the Mask On Challenge COVID edition. The national competition is geared toward not only stimulating creative interest in mask designing, but importantly, getting St. Lucians to wear masks in the fight against COVID-19. The wearing of masks, the World Health Organization advises, protects against respiratory droplets from someone when they talk, cough, or sneeze. These droplets expel into the air and evaporate into fine particles that may linger. The mask traps these droplets before they can evaporate.
In fighting COVID, it's the singularly most important thing because we know that it works.
The Mask On Challenge coincides with the observance of the island's 42nd independence anniversary. Honorable Chastanet says the nation is at a critical crossroad with the pandemic shaping a new reality for St. Lucia, and as such, every St. Lucian must join the national effort to ensure the island emerges better than before. The theme for this year's independence is a resilient nation, we can, we will.
And I think the same way that we raise a flag is the same way we must understand that this independence, we must wear a mask. So from people who do it because they love their mother or they love their siblings, or they love somebody who is not so well in their own household and they're doing it to protect them. But most importantly, we do it because we love our country. And, you know, COVID has taken away all the things that we love.
Wearing masks along with hand sanitizing and physical distancing are simple measures proven to protect against the coronavirus. And the message is heightening in St. Lucia. There has been tremendous response to the Mask On Challenge, with scores submitting TikTok videos. Details on the Mask Challenge can be found at maskonchallenge_SLU. From the Government Information Service, Lisa Joseph reporting.
PAX is the agent for Caribbean Line, which offers an effective alternative for global integrative of transport logistics from Sheerness, UK to Vieux-Fort St. Lucia in shipping, documentation, administrative procedure, loading and unloading operations. We also offer courier, small package service, customs brokerage, ship agency, freight forwarder, consolidator, and accounting services. Visit them today on New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, or call 454-1200 or 7198837. PAX is effective, efficient, and reliable.
Real estate transactions are now made easy. Whether buying, selling, or renting residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or touristic property, we offer the best deals in real estate transactions with professional support, including valuation, material sourcing, and construction. Contact Ed Harris and Associates, your courteous and efficient real estate agents. Call 485-1456 or email caribbiz@gmail.com.
Do you need to copy or print your document? Are you in need of insurance? Are you looking for office stationery? Stop. Yes, LMP Services on Clark Lane, Vieux-Fort has all the services you need. They open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or call 454-8757 or 721-8757 for affordable rates, reliable and effective customer service with a difference.
Ernesto's Auto Parts, located on the Labrie-Vieux-Fort Highway, is your place for auto parts. We have suspension parts, mounts, brakes, shocks, and so much more.
We specialize in accessories like mats, batteries, horns, lubricants, and much more.
We're open from Mondays to Saturdays from 8 to 5 and Sundays and most holidays from 8 to 1.
L'opui, Ernesto vai depu.
What do you need to transport? Call the hauler. At M&E's Trucking, we offer a wide range of services island-wide, from containerized movement, flatbed service, and lowboy transfers. We're located at Beanfield, Vieux-Fort. Our skillful professional drivers are ready to serve you. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or email us at vibration711@gmail.com. Call us at 488-1000. We're ready to serve you. M&D's Trucking Service, a powerhouse ready to haul.